test.
Alright, now that I've gotten that loop out of the way, you gotta reduce your volume a bit.
I need to reduce my volume?
No, I've reduced your volume.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, back to 33% with you. And that signals it's telling me the stream is offline, but the banner bar is telling me the stream is online. Well done, YouTube. Excellent. 10 out of 10. Big round of applause for YouTube.
What the fuck is this boss fight? What the fuck is this bullshit?
Okay, so anyway, so while YouTube's having the aneurysm, everything else looks to be a-okay. So we were going to start Fanfiction Friday with me, SneakyDevil, and Atin's going to be joining us. Unfortunately, our sole voice of canon and reason, Max Force, is not coming today. He didn't really give us a reason. He just decided he wasn't going to join us. But
and you know what? With the amount of stupid stuff we read on this show, I can't blame him for taking a break.
I can only assume he's fighting off ninja assassins from space or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever Southerners do in their spare time. Anyway, with that, welcome to Fanfiction Friday, like I said, where canon is ignored and plot doesn't matter.
And grammar is
optional.
A suggestion.
So anyway, let us get into it. This is going to be our first story today. Ruby Despussy, or however... Despussy? Yeah.
I don't know, let me see.
I'm sending it now to you. D-E-S-P-W-S. Despuss?
Despuss? What? I assume it's some kind of horribly destroyed team name.
Yeah, well, I mean, the U in Ruby is supposed to be Uzumaki, because this is in fact a Naruto Ruby crossover.
Well, yeah, and I get that.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, I'm just explaining it out loud. This is going to be painful to anyone that
Let's see, who's he? Naruto with Team Ruby. Okay then.
Yes.
Just the whole team. Let's ignore the fact that one of them is potentially underage. Well, yeah. I guess she's not underage in Japan. So
well, I mean, yeah, you're right. But this isn't.
I was gonna say it's one of those things.
But Ruby is an American.
Right. But here's the thing: when they have the female star, as it were, in Japan, who's underage, they age her up when they bring her to America. They don't actually change anything on the model. They just say, oh, she's 16 or 17 instead of like 15 or 14.
Well, but I mean, still, Ruby is an American production.
Right, but I'm just saying
I know they do that in Japan. I'm saying.
I'm just saying. I don't think country of origin is irrelevant. It's where it's being considered from that's relevant. So.
Yeah, but we all know Japan's weird. So we can't really.
I'm not arguing with that one.
We can't exactly use them as a basis of normalcy. But regardless of all that, let us get started on this.
Let's ignore the fact that one of them is potentially a minor, and then ignore the fact that let's be real. I'm pretty sure maybe Yang would go for an open relationship. Maybe.
Yeah, you actually, Weiss? Yeah, you do have a point. Yeah, Weiss and Blake, I don't think exactly would be going for an open relationship with their entire team. And I really don't think Yang would be up for an open relationship with her sister.
Yeah, like I said. Now, maybe with the same guy, maybe Yang. Like I said, maybe Yang. Weiss? No, absolutely not.
I mean,
you really think Weiss would tolerate?
No, I'm not about. I'm thinking about Yang. So I honestly can't see Yang liking someone who she would think would also be okay for her sister.
That is a valid point. But so here's the thing, like we said, on 3 out of 4 of these people, 3 out of 4 of them are not likely to accept sharing.
Well, I mean, even beyond sharing, just like, oh god, it's yeah. See, the Naruto, you can sort of fudge it. You can, I say sort of, because Naruto verse is very much the next mission you go on, you might die. So live your life however you do. That's why all the shinobi are shown having so many vices. Because they might die, like the next day. To an assassin, to being poisoned by what they thought was the housekeeping. Like they could literally die any second because of what they've done, or because of
who
what someone
cares
else
if
done.
I'm smoking 6 packs a day? I'm not likely to live past 30.
Yeah. So, I from that angle, I could see them being more flexible in terms of relationship status. However, Ruby, despite everything that happens in it, tends to be portrayed in canon as a more upbeat world.
Yeah, I was going to say, generally speaking, positive outlook on
Like
life.
I said, despite everything that happens in Ruby, that should label it on the same, maybe not the same tier as Warhammer, but pretty fucking close.
Certainly approaching an almost Dark Souls level of torment.
Yeah, like, despite all that, it's still portrayed as happy-go-lucky at times. So,
I was going to say, and it may be that that's simply obviously it's not a personality trait you can breed for, but it's certainly one that you can heavily encourage,
I mean, yeah, culturally encourage, even if that's just the author's take on the world.
I was going to say, specifically
it's still
because,
what we're shown.
Unlike in, say, Dark Souls, and unlike in, say, 40K, continuing to be a Debbie Downer in the face, regardless of how rational being a Debbie Downer would seem.
Actually,
in the face
no. Actually, now that you've said that, I've had a thought. What if being upbeat in this world is a genetic trait at this point? Because all the fucking sad people attracted Grimm and everyone died.
I mean, it certainly wouldn't stop negative emotions from happening, but it would certainly encourage a more...
It would certainly breed out sections of population that are more inclined to negative emotions.
Yeah, I was going to say, it would certainly breed a hardier, I guess I want to say, mental resilient, like, more likely to, things have gone sideways, I'll crack a stupid joke, rather than become sad.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that's what it is, I'm just saying, technically, you could get away with saying that.
Yeah, because, again, unlike in 40K, unlike in Dark Souls, in Ruby, going, man, everything sucks today, when everything does suck, is actually guaranteed to make your day worse.
Yeah, it's actually guaranteed to make your day worse. Anyway, we've waffled on enough. We are approaching 10 minutes of waffling. Let us actually get into the story that we promised we would get into. And by promise, I mean the one I have up. That's basically as good as the promises we're gonna get.
All right, let's...
So, anyway. I'm not even trying to pronounce the title. He would find her, no matter how long it took, or who he had to cut down. He would get revenge for what happened to his precious little one back. Okay. If he ended right there at precious little one, I'd be like, oh, okay. But what's with the back? No matter how...
He's revenge for what happened to his precious little one. I think the author got confused. Like,
I think he was like talking about one thing in the first half of the sentence, and then he was like, "Oh, he's gonna get her back," and then completely forgot about it, like halfway through.
Yeah, like almost like he forgot halfway through. Like maybe he was writing the summary and then changed his mind the direction he wanted to take the story, but forgot about the first half.
No, I wouldn't say. I would say more like got distracted and got up to get water or something.
Yeah, anyway.
But yeah, even if it meant attending this academy and learning everything he could about the Grimm. See, I'm gonna be picky here because with all crossovers,
You can say this is Fanfiction Friday.
yeah,
Pickiness is something we do.
with all crossovers, there is certain expectations placed on each side of the crossover. When you're bringing X character into X universe, or trying to merge the two together, or whatever combination thereof. Um, but even if it meant attending this academy and learning everything he could about the Grimm, but the previous sentence literally just said he would do whatever he could to get revenge for what happened to his girl. So
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure why he's then in the next sentence expressing reluctance to do this. Like, even if it meant attending, which means he doesn't want to attend this place, but he will to get revenge.
But he just said, I'll do whatever I have to. Now, to be
Like,
fair, it
now,
could be
to be fair, if he said, even if it meant attending this academy, and then continued on with something else, that would have set something else up. But he continued with and learning everything he could about the Grimm. Why wouldn't you want to learn about the Grimm?
Since, presumably, we don't know what happened here, but presumably, I guess, maybe Naruto has a kid or something, or...
But, I mean, like, so even if assuming the scenario of Naruto, old enough, has a kid dies to hunters, the Grimm, to criminals, whatever. Kid dies, gets kidnapped, gets tortured, something. He then decides he's going to pursue the person or creature or whatever that did it to his kid, but he knows he's not strong enough, so he's going to go to the academy and learn about Grimm to get stronger.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, well, my biggest part of this problem is it makes it sound like Naruto has someone that he cares deeply about, and that's not a problem. That's not the issue I have with that. My issue with that is that implies it's Shippuden Naruto.
Well, not even Shippuden Naruto. Maybe it's just Naruto grown up in this world, as authors are so fond of doing for some odd reason.
Right, but then the problem with that is it makes it even fucking creepier that he's going to Beacon.
Well, I mean, like we said before, maybe, he had a kid at 20 or something. And now he's going to Beacon, and so that's still not putting him too far ahead of the age range of people going there. And I would assume that in a world with ever encroaching apocalypse, I guess you could call it, in the form of Grimm, that they would take anyone they can get if they meet the standards, regardless of age.
Yeah, I was gonna say
because it's not like a Jedi thing where they gotta teach them young so they can fully master their powers or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very much like when Luke Skywalker had the Jedi Praxium, in that he's like, well, technically speaking, I'm a Jedi Master, but I barely know more than any of you, so I certainly can't afford to take like 6-year-olds because I can't teach them.
Yeah. So like, I can understand whatever his age is going in there and learning about Grimm, but I'm confused as to why you'd be reluctant to learn about humanity's greatest threat.
Now, if he'd instead gone with, if he'd cut out the learning about the Grimm part,
like that's what I said. If he just kept, even if it meant attending the academy and left it at that would have been something else. That would have changed the angle of the story entirely.
Yeah, well, I'm saying his thing, he could have even included, even if it meant making friends with these girls, because if he's, whether it's a child
maybe he's
or
planning to kill one of them or kill one of their family or something, it could have led into something else. But the way he words it is very weird and like nullifies the previous statements and shit. It's just really.
Yeah, well, and like I said, here's the thing: even if he just stuck with and even if him making friends with these girls, like, it could be that, given that whatever supposedly happened, wife, daughter, whatever, maybe that's a perfectly legitimate reason to not want to suddenly be forced to make
Yeah,
close
exactly.
friendships.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the way he set up this whole summary of even if it meant forming bonds with other students or for girls in particular, the way he you can tell when he was writing this, he had a couple things in mind. Something bad happens to Naruto. A child is involved. Naruto is gonna have sex with these four. And like in the author's mind, as he's writing this, he's got for some reason he needs to specify that these four girls he's gonna bond with in the summary. And the summary of a story is the hook of the story. It is the representation of your story to everyone else. It is the headline to your
Yeah,
story.
it's the way you're getting everybody's attention.
It's how you get people's attention. And I'm going to use some of my stories as an example of what you should and shouldn't do, and then I'm going to go into the current story that me and Max are running.
Yeah.
For example, of Cadavers and Men. This was near my first story. Yeah, this was roughly my first story I had ever published. This is what actually got me into contact with Max. I said, set in the AU of the hybrid and living with infected stories, a man and his friends took refuge in the city of Philadelphia, trying to get to the bottom of the mystery that is the green flu while on a warpath with Sita. I could have worded that supremely better. But if you took out set in the AU section, a man and his friends took refuge in the city of Philadelphia, trying to get to the bottom of the mystery that is the green flu while on a warpath with Sita. That is still interesting enough to get people to click on it. And people did click on
it. Yeah.
While it only got 3 reviews out of 6 chapters, I did have a lot of people PMing me.
Hello, friends.
Nose. Hello.
Oh,
we're doing.
Guess what, Nose? You've made a mistake.
You've just volunteered yourself.
And you volunteered.
You just volunteered to enter the stream.
Okay then.
Congratulations, you've been drafted.
I'm playing Darkest Dungeon, but okay.
That's
also,
fine.
the Shambler is. Am I allowed to swear?
I mean, I say fuck often enough, so I really, unless
you're
gonna start
I have made the
Shambler. Don't talk about the game though.
Yeah, don't talk about. We're talking about fan fiction. This is get out of here if you're gonna talk about Vidma games.
I'm not. I was just gonna mention one quick thing.
Yeah, don't.
If you guys don't want to,
shut up.
Send him the link to this
yeah.
pile of steaming trash.
Here's the pile of steaming trash we're gonna be covering today.
We're not in recording chat, by the way.
I know.
Yeah, we know.
What does this heresy?
It's exactly as bad as you think it's gonna be. We have only got into the summary because we're talking about summaries right now. So then...
And we're talking about trying to catch people's attention. And for the record, this is the kind of information that if you are an actual writer, this is the kind of information that you could apply to the back of a book. Because again, that is the summary.
Yeah.
That's an important thing to say about this. Think of this as the back of the book. This is what everyone's going to see when they look at it in Barnes & Noble or...
Yeah, as I told one person...
I did see that, I saw that wonderful thing you posted about the thing at Barnes & Noble, by the way.
Oh. What do you mean?
Did you not see what Zach posted?
It's fine.
So, it was just like a Shakespeare with...
Yeah, no, it was just them ruining Shakespeare. That's all it was.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Here's the thing, though, about those, like... Yes, they're funny if you don't take them seriously. That's the thing. Like, you can't take that stuff seriously. That's like a parody kind of thing.
Yeah, I know. Anyway.
As I was saying, I told someone previously, we actually covered one of their stories on the stream. I left a review of them. And they responded back, and at one point I told them, when you're publishing stories and chapters and summaries and whatnot, you have to look at it and go, would I see this in an official book that's been, distributed by Barnes and Noble or something. And I'm not saying you have to hold your story up to that kind of professional quality. I'm just saying that every single time you post something, look at it and go, are you satisfied with this? If this was being published into a book, would you be happy with the quality that it is?
It's time to stop posting.
And for non-crack stories, that I believe that's important. As much as writing constantly is important to just increasing your skill in writing,
It's also important to make
need
sure
to
it's
be
quality.
you need to be retrospective.
I
You
think
just
that's a
need to
word.
be you need to think on what you're putting out as well. Like just writing constantly, yeah, you'll eventually get better, but if you don't think about it, it's going to be a slow progress. You,
Yeah.
you have to look back on each chapter. You have to say, what can I do better? What did I not do? What did I
Like you say,
mess up
that's
on?
specifically why you want to encourage, like, the people who write, oh, please give reviews, but don't flame. No. You know what?
And as I've told people before, even flames are good for learning. Because a flame is either someone's trolling you to get a reaction from you, or
In which case, it's
alternatively,
very
you
obvious.
performed an action that got that person so angry they left a scathing review of your story ranting and raving at you. Which means, even if you disagree with that person's rant and rave, look at their core argument. The way you characterized one character, what you did with a character, how a scene played out. Look at it again from a non-writer perspective, basically, is what I'm trying to say, is look at it when you're not in the heat of the moment of writing. Can other people follow it? Does it match, if you haven't altered the character too much from the original canon, does it match a situation that character would be found in and how they would react to it? If you're making characters react a certain way because you want a certain outcome, people are going to get mad about it. And I'm not saying you can't have characters act a certain way to get a certain outcome. However, it's fan fiction, not fiction. Which means those characters already have a personality to them. And unless you've changed that through alternate universe status or in fan fiction canon reasoning, it's going to seem forced. And everyone's going to be able to tell it's forced.
That's another important thing about fan. Remember, this is fan fiction. Everyone, at least on a theoretical level, who's reading your story is just as, if not a bigger fan of whatever this
They
is.
probably think of themselves as the biggest fan of whatever they're reading. And everyone is going to have their own ideas about how they would react in each situation. And in stuff like that, you gotta stick to it close as canon as possible. Canon is your shield in a majority of fanfiction. And I'm not saying stick to canon in terms of railroading it through canon, but I'm saying stick to canon in terms of what people would do if they, from canon, were in this situation. Now, if for example, you had Harry Potter be put into an orphanage by the Dursleys instead of growing up with them, and this orphanage had a local church come by every week to help literacy rates and tell stories and do prayers and whatnot, then that Harry Potter is going to be significantly different from canon Harry Potter. But it's still going to be Harry Potter. Certain attributes are still going to carry through.
Like his
hero complex.
Yeah. And like I don't want to necessarily say like optimism. I don't think it's. But like
Harry Potter, I would say Harry Potter is more of a, as someone once said, books 1 through 3 was, fuck yeah, I'm Harry Potter. And then the rest of the books were, fuck, I'm Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, no, someone made that little joke.
Basically saying Harry Potter discovers that he is someone in this world. And more or less, as kids want to do, try and live up to the expectations that other people have of them. I'm not saying all kids, again, not saying all kids, not all kids, hashtag not all kids.
Yeah.
But on
most kids like
on
that
the
do have
buy,
delusions.
most kids
do have
try
delusions
and
of
meet,
grandeur.
Yeah, most kids try and meet the delusion of grandeur and the expectations that others have for them, especially if it's good expectations. And then he grows up and realizes, oh shit, these people have expectations of me. The actions I performed in the previous years did nothing to dissuade them that I can't do what they expect of me.
That and oh shit, people actually want me dead.
But that's the thing, though, is if Harry Potter had shown up the first year in the Wizarding World and was completely incompetent at magic and just couldn't get anything right and was just a complete social outcast because he was just an absolute social autist, then do you really think, Malfoy and Voldemort would have seen him as a threat?
Probably not.
No, they wouldn't. They'd be laughing at him like, this is the prophesized boy who's gonna defeat us? He's a fucking moron.
It's like
he couldn't defeat a twig.
What do you say? Like, look at this. Failed potions, failed charms, failed herbology.
But instead, Harry Potter enters the world, fucking kills a basilisk in his second year in the Wizarding World, stops Voldemort in the first year, saves a school, fights 100 Dementors in year 3. Like,
oh yeah, that was definitely a thing.
That's not shit that people look at and go, yeah, that's the average fucking Tuesday. You have stories going around of Harry Potter as a baby defeating dragons and killing Dark Lords, and then Harry Potter shows up in the real world and he's fucking killing basilisks and fighting swarms of Dementors at the age of fucking 12 and 13. People want to go, oh yeah, those stories are fucking true. He's basically Merlin.
Yeah. When you say, and similarly, when you take someone like Naruto, people like Orochimaru wouldn't have been so dead set on stopping him if, what is it? Roughly 3 months into being a ninja?
Yeah.
He and mostly him, a little bit of him and Sasuke, but mostly him, defeats the apprentice of one of the most dangerous ninja in the world at that time, Zabuza.
Oh yeah.
And has a hand, and
I mean, it's not even that. You actually see the moment in canon during the Chunin exams where Orochimaru fights Team 7, and Orochimaru has that declared epiphany to the readers of, what the hell? They said he was trash. I actually have to take him a bit seriously now.
Yeah. He's like, I thought Sasuke was supposed to be the competent one, but meanwhile, for whatever reason, Sasuke's just having an emotional breakdown.
Yeah, if you look like a moron, even you could have all the power in the world, you could be like the son of God, and if they nail you to a cross, no one's going to take you seriously.
Now, coming back from the dead,
that makes people take you a bit more seriously. But as far as religious references go, that's actually a decent one.
Wait, no, we have to put in more religious references. That's why it makes it deep. Don't you know?
But as I was saying, you can be the son of God for all that matters, and if you stumble into every conversation and you trip over everything, and an apple is stronger than you, everyone's just looking at you and be like, "Yep, you're pretty much just a disappointment. We're not even gonna bother like planning around you."
Yeah.
But if you come in there and you're like, "Lol, I shoot laser beams from my eyes, and I'm capable of being fucking Superman," people will be like, "Ah, shit, he's actually a threat. We have to do something about him." But we're getting way off topic, so let's
because we don't want to be on
let's
topic.
lasso ourselves back in here to the summaries, and then move on to actually reading the story I said I would read out loud. And yes, I did in fact pantomime that entire speech of mine.
Well, we were all gesturing.
Yes, of course.
If you want to see our faces for some reason,
Don't.
Face reveal at 50,000 likes.
No.
God. No.
At 50,000 likes, you get Sneaky's face. 100,000, you get mine. 150, you get to see Max wearing a bag on.
No, hold on. I mean, if we're gonna do that, it should be like Max first, then you, then me. We want to lose the most subscribers possible, which is why we put me last.
Yes, it's true. Anyway, moving on to the horrible abomination of reading.
So, summaries. So, I've written 3 stories. Of Cadavers and Men and When You Plan It were absolute trash in terms of both summary and plot. In that I basically went off half-cocked, not really knowing what I was going to do with the story, but kind of just got like the first chapter out and was like, yeah, I'm going to post this. And then I tried to write, more, because, 6 chapters, 10,000 words, 3 chapters, 5,000 words. The chapters weren't long. Compared to what I write now, those chapters are fucking pathetic. And when I tried to write more, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm out. I have nothing. So I had one last gasp with Twisted Fate, Shattered State, my 3rd story, and then I finally moved on to writing Scorched Earth, Shattered Steel. If you see a naming pattern there, ignore it. So
just
anyway,
ignore it.
With
nothing.
Twisted Fate, Shattered State, the summary I wrote for this is a Pokemon story. That was supposed to be a more realistic and darker take on Pokemon, because that was a fad for a time. Amnesia.
I mean, that's still a thing.
Yes, I do seem to recall that fad. Yes.
Yeah. Amnesia. Such a small word for something so life-changing. Death. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Many that live deserve death, and some that die deserve life. I guess I was just lucky. That's a decent summary. You aren't really told what's going on in the story, but what you do know is there's going to be death, there's going to be amnesia, and there's going to be plot twists.
Just what my new enemy needed.
Unsurprisingly, that got the most reviews, that got the most PMs, that got the most favorites and follows, and etc. However, Scorched Earth, Shattered Steel, which is the current story me and Max Force are working on. That is the archive of our own. We want the fanfiction.net. Scorched Earth, Shattered Steel. The flame burns lower, and as time passes, the cracks in reality increase. It was inevitable that a glitch would occur. Now, usurped from his time, can a hero from the golden age of the gods unite the remnants of Lordran under him? Subject to the warped world of a flickering flame, will he and his allies discover in time what brought the land of the gods so low and save it?
That's a decent summary, I guess.
I was gonna say, here's the thing. It tells you what to expect in the story.
Yep.
Someone from the Golden Age of Heroes is going to be there. It tells you, I mean, obviously, it tells you what game it's pulling from. And it gives you a basic idea of where it's going to take place. But here's the thing that's important. It doesn't tell you anything about what's going to happen. It doesn't tell you, Havel. It doesn't tell you that Havel, because I don't think you might.
It's like the cover art's literally Havel and a pyromancer, so it's not that big of a secret that Havel's the one that gets.
It does. True, but it doesn't tell you off the bat that Havel is the one from the Golden Age of Heroes, and it doesn't tell you what he's going to do. It doesn't even tell you what he might be faced with, other than the usual cavalcade of bullshit in Dark Souls, because it's a Dark Souls story. That's a good summary. It's short. It will get your attention.
And it's also telling other things. The cracks in reality increase. Glitches are occurring. Things are being warped. It's telling you the main character, and it's telling you things are getting bad. Which is all you really need to say in a summary. And I'm not saying this is like, this is the gold standard summaries. I've seen fucking way better summaries and way less words, too. It's just, that is a way to get people to read the story. And it doesn't tell you, it doesn't handhold you anything in terms of, what's going to happen. It doesn't even say that he saves the world or anything. It's, can he find out? Can he save it? Can he unite them? You don't know. Which is why you're reading the story.
Why you have to buy his merchandise off sharkrobot.com.
Go to redbubble.com and our Patreon at www.donate to this asshole.
I'm wondering if that Patreon's actually taken.
I don't know.
I bet it is. Someone ironically probably has that Patreon.
Patreon, donate to this asshole.
Actually, is that Soviet Wombles? I think that might be Soviet Womble. Oh,
no, Soviet Womble is Soviet Womble.
Oh, I would have imagined someone from the TeamSpeak would have probably gone just like, let me just make his Patreon this now.
No. I don't think you can change the name of the Patreon after you've created it.
Yeah. Anyway, beside the point.
Alright, so reeling ourselves back in. We've talked about the summaries. We've talked about what you should do. We've talked about what you shouldn't do. Now we're going to get back to sitting down and reading this fucking flaming pile of trash, which has one of my greatest fanfiction sins in there. I know I say that a lot, but it is. There is certain things in fanfiction that will make me never read the story, and one of them is taking characters from another, making it a crossover, and taking Naruto in this instance, and bringing him over to Ruby, which is fine, but the point that I do not read the story anymore is when you go, okay, it's Naruto, and it looks like Naruto, but he doesn't have any of Naruto's powers, he doesn't have Naruto's history, and instead it's completely normal person that was birthed on Remnant and just looks like Naruto and acts like him. And yeah. I find that dumb. I get it, I understand trying to mesh chakra with aura, and there's a whole bunch of other mess that comes with trying to do a crossover. But if you don't want to put the effort in, don't fucking write it. Yeah. This story would have been better, in my opinion, if it was not a crossover, but was instead a just plain old Ruby OC story. Replace Naruto with your, whatever, self-insert, I don't fucking care. It would have been a better story if it was not Naruto. In this instance. Because if you do not have Naruto with the history of Naruto, and the powers of Naruto. I mean, hell, if you don't want to have like Sage Mode and shit show up, have Naruto as a kid appear. Because Naruto as a kid didn't know about this shit. Naruto as a kid didn't know about Kyuubi. But he'll still have those powers. He'll still have the ability to use them eventually if you want him to. However, removing those powers from him removes a part of the character of Naruto. And at that point, there's no reason to read this story anymore. I'm reading crossover stories for the crossover. I'm reading the stories for the powers meets powers aspect. I'm not reading it just so I can see self-insert OC that looks and acts like Naruto in Ruby that doesn't have any of the Naruto-verse powers. Now,
you'd make a good editor, you know that?
I do. I know. That's what I did for a while.
Oh. I never knew that.
Yeah,
anyway,
back in high school and college.
I was going to say,
moving on.
Yeah.
Like, there
but
was
the fact is,
idea that someday I'm going to get around writing,
yeah.
which is I was like, oh, I wonder what would happen if, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and one of my favorites has always been Jaden Core, and I was like, I wonder what would happen if Jaden Core showed up in Naruto. And one of the things that's got to be considered with that is, first of all, how does Jaden Core act? And here's important stuff when you do like a crossover. Consider how is the character? What potential impact could they have?
Mm-hmm. That's always a huge thing that ruins crossovers. Is they have the character come in, they make the splash, and then the author's like, oh shit, and then just railroads the story on canon.
Yeah.
Because they can't think of all the butterfly effects that would occur.
Yeah. Like, an important thing to consider is, that's another thing that's really important, where you want to drop them. If I take someone like Jaden Core, realistically speaking, I can't drop him into the first season, because Jaden Core is, let me check canon as to when where you want to drop them. But if I take someone like Jaden Core, realistically speaking, generally speaking, he's almost guaranteed to be far too old to not just completely screw over the canon.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, hold on. I'm checking the wiki.
But yeah, going back to my point while you're doing that, is when you write a crossover in stuff like this, when you take a single character, pluck them from their universe, and drop them in another, it's not always going to be clean. And I understand that. Not every universe is going to have a method to accidentally appear in another universe. And sometimes you're going to have to fudge the reasoning as to why these characters are suddenly popping up here. And sometimes it's not going to make a lot of sense in canon in terms of actual things that could happen. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But
side note, Core actually I was wrong. Core entered the Jedi Academy 14 years after the Battle of Yavin, so he'd be 15 because he was born a year after Battle of Yavin. He entered when he was 14, so he'd be 15. So yeah, but the point is, you take someone like him, and it'd be like, because an important thing to consider would be like when he gets there, because if you know anything about Jaden Core, you basically have to have a scene where he'd show up, not knowing what the fuck's going on. And he's going to have to try to control the enormous amount of force lightning that's going to be pouring off of him, because that was his power. That was his power that he had an affinity for, was force lightning. And it's been stated time and again in the books, whenever he got really, really scared or really, really angry,
force lightning, yeah,
it just started happening. Like, it would just start skittering along his hands. And that's a little thing, but it's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing that I always... One of the greatest Naruto-based sins I see, and when they take characters from other genres and place them into the Naruto-verse, is you're placing completely unknown people of likely high levels of power, because people are apparently only interested in that, but that's people. And you're taking characters of high level of power that the ninja world has never heard of. and you're placing them into the ninja world, and they obviously, because it's fan fiction, they do some sort of big, extravagant entrance in terms of, they defeat some S-rank criminal or something and save Naruto and crew or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, thank you for helping us. Let's take you back to Konoha. Nah. And I'm always sitting here like, this is a war-torn world. Everyone is in the profession of being a ninja. One of the aspects of being a ninja is being fucking paranoid as shit because the person that you thought was your friend might have been just a disguise, and he's actually been planning to kill you for the past 10 years as part of his mission.
Everyone is a spy.
Literally everyone is a spy. And they're all planning to kill everyone around them just in case.
And if you
So they're not just gonna sit there. Maybe the kids will. But kids are kids. Team 7 is young at that point, if the start of Naruto. The kids are still kids. They don't know about the wider world. But Kakashi, but Hiruzen, especially fucking Hiruzen. The phrase, beware those who live long in an occupation that dies young.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I believe it's be wary of old men in a profession where I don't know. I think
You get the point, though. He, Danzo, everyone that's a Jonin are going to be extremely suspicious of this super powerful person that none of them have ever heard of before. And they're not just going to be buddy-buddy with him and tell him everything and their woes and their backstories and invite them to their houses to eat dinner and shit with just the purpose of being friends with him. Now, a majority of the stuff that I see written in these sorts of crossovers could still happen, but the author writes it as a premise of him just being best buddies with them, and not as a premise of the ninja are all super fucking suspicious of this guy, so they're acting friendly so they can get more information from him. And now, I'm not saying it's gotta be dark in every story or shit like that. I'm just saying you have to take the world into perspective when you're doing crossovers.
Yeah.
If Joe Blow gets dropped in the Naruto-verse, no one's gonna give a fuck. But if Sephiroth suddenly fucking appears in the middle of Konoha to defeat Pain, everyone's gonna be like, oh, hey, thanks for killing Pain, but who the fuck are you?
And it's most likely going to be, okay, this guy showed up and murdered Pain. The first thing 85% of the ninja there are going to do is immediately try and murder him.
Yeah, because they don't know who the fuck he is. And that's the thing. In a ninja world where everyone's a fucking spy, anyone rising in power to that level either owns their own fucking country like Pain did and was capable of keeping every spy in his country dead, or there is no war. You're either, if you will grow up anywhere in the elemental countries to the point of power of Kages and otherwise, someone somewhere is going to know about you, and because of that, everyone else will. Yeah. If you drop someone of that level of power into the world, everyone's going to be fucking paranoid. But like I said before, if Joe Blow gets dropped into the world, and he slowly ratchets up in power, no one's gonna be surprised. Everyone's going to know who Joe Blow is as he gets stronger and stronger. So at that point, if Joe Blow suddenly appears in Konoha one day, they're gonna be suspicious, but he shows no signs of power. He shows low, maybe medium chakra or whatever. Shows a special ability, but it's just Joe Blow. He's not that strong. They notice him, but they're like, we'll just assign like a Chunin or something to keep watch on him. And he goes stronger and stronger. He becomes friends with his peers. They're not
figure
going to be
he's not
concerned about
there.
him. They're going to be friendly with him because they grew up with Joe Blow, and while his past might be up for question, he hasn't shown any signs of being suddenly strong. He showed up as a fucking, 13-year-old who didn't even know what chakra was. So you can't really say, oh, this guy's a fucking spy if he's actively growing up with you.
Yeah. Now, sure, there might be some of the most paranoid who would think it's
A plant or a
hyper-long
sleeper agent
con.
or something. Yeah, but even then, that's like Donzo's part of the population, and they're not going to be overly concerned. Everyone else is not going to be overly concerned. They're going to be friendly. But that's all I'm saying is in stories like this you have to take the world and for Star Wars, for example, to continue my previous rant. And
I was gonna say,
to reach back to you.
If
someone super powerful shows up in Star Wars, no one's gonna be super paranoid about him. There's 1,000-something worlds in Star Wars, right?
Oh, there's literally 1,000.
Yeah,
and
so if someone powerful shows up, it's gonna be to no one's fucking surprise to be like, oh, he must have been on one of them Outer Rim worlds, learning secrets from the ancient civilizations. And everyone's gonna shrug the fucking move on.
Yeah, or he's from the Outer Rim. It's like take the Chiss, a hyper-powerful military nation that up until the Galactic Civil War had literally no presence because the Chiss didn't know about the Republic, and the Republic didn't know about the Chiss until just before the Galactic Civil War, because that's when the Republic finally sent something to the freaking unknown regions.
Yeah. So it's going to be to no one's surprise. I mean, maybe they'll be like, oh, that's a bit odd. That's not really a Jedi technique or whatever. But again, there's going to be portions of the population that are in the know about the Force. And while they may say, that's not a known Jedi technique, there's thousands of worlds that have been abandoned with holocrons of ancient Jedi techniques everyone's forgotten. And they're going to be like, okay, obviously the Jedi are gonna be like, oh, that might be a the Sith holocron that he found, and the Sith are gonna be like, oh, is that?
Leaving that aside,
it's
been documented that Luke Skywalker found multiple cults of the Force, essentially.
Yeah.
That had their own traditions of using the Force.
Yeah.
There's one. It's on the world that Plo Koon is from.
Mm.
They have very few traditional Force powers, but they are amazing at using the Force to control nature. They can do a variant of Force lightning that it's not they don't create Sith lightning. They just make normal lightning.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. though. Is
that tribe also Native American?
Shut the fuck
up. But in perspective the world of Star Wars,
okay,
a super powerful person dropping in won't set off too many alarms. Sure, some people with plans are going to be like, oh shit, who's this new player? I have to plan around him. But that's it. They're not going to be like, oh, you're super paranoid about him and shit. Because it's fucking Star Wars. There's thousands of worlds, thousands of cults, thousands of ancient civilizations that are constantly being rediscovered by one or two people and getting sold off to this place and then robbed by this person. There is so much potential out there for someone out of the blue to have just show up with power.
Yeah.
And so that it's a massively different reaction from the people of Star Wars compared to the people of Naruto, compared to the people of Ruby, compared,
Yeah. Again, here's the hypothetical. You take Naruto. Let's say you take Shippuden Naruto. You drop him into the Star Wars universe, and he's got the Rasengan, and he's got shadow clones and stuff like that. And sure, people will be like, man, those are some weird-ass Force techniques. But, and partially because of the way the Star Wars universe works, Luke Skywalker is going to hear about this super powerful Jedi.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, wow, do you want to teach at my academy?
Yeah, I mean, obviously depending on what time he pops in, but still, the
Yeah.
reaction to a super powerful person showing up in Star Wars isn't universally by everyone. Oh my God, kill it.
Yeah.
For
Whereas
example,
if you take, say,
yeah, I was gonna use one last
let's say
example,
you
then
take
let's actually
Jaden
move on to the
Core.
story.
Oh God, I don't want to.
Uh,
But fine.
so a story by Leaf Ranger that the guy mentioned back in Fanfiction Tuesday.
No. We have to. I'm sorry. You're right. We just have to read this thing.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So he did an Assassin's Creed Naruto crossover, and I helped him with it in the early stages to really nail down how exactly everyone would react and stuff, as I've said. And what we nailed down was basically, Naruto. So Joe Blow, OC Assassin, is hunting down one of the pieces of Eden across the annals of history. The assassin, not someone like viewing his memory, right?
Right.
And shows up, grabs the piece of Eden, and something wonky happens, as wont to do around pieces of Eden, and he ends
I
up
was
in the
gonna say.
And he ends up in the Naruto
You sure he didn't just suffer hallucinations? Seems like pieces of Eden love causing those.
Yeah. He ends up in the Narutoverse. And at first, he ends up in Konoha as well, I believe. And at first, everyone's like, "Holy shit, who is this guy?" Oh, he doesn't have any chakra. He's just a civilian who's able to climb walls really well and kill people stealthily. Nothing that we can't do better. And so yeah, they're a bit wary of him, but as far as they're concerned, if fucking Genin could kill him.
I mean, he's barely more dangerous than Rock Lee.
Yeah, I mean, Rock Lee is way more dangerous. I mean, yeah. Rocket Lee is way more dangerous. Like, the dude's got fucking a crossbow and a hidden blade. Neither of those are threats to ninjas that can make their skin turn into rock, shoot fireballs from long distance, or stab people with fucking lightning.
And I'm pretty much just become Goku.
And on top of all that, he's just a civilian. He moves fast as a normal, average human. Maybe at peak physical capacity, but still just an average human. And meanwhile, fucking Genin are learning about how to run at 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And he can maintain about 5 for like 10 seconds. So, not much threat was assigned to him. And so they let him in on secrets because they all saw him just suddenly appear, and he doesn't have chakra, and he's got this weird-ass piece of relic, and they're like, yeah, it is a weird-ass piece of relic, and it is doing freaky-ass shit. I think we can believe you on the I just suddenly appeared here level of I don't have any chakra, I'm not from around here. This thing brought me here.
Yeah.
And so,
Dude, pieces of Eden, Lamo.
World moves on. They didn't give him any state secrets, but they're like, can you teach your little hidden tricks and shit to our upcoming ninja? And he's like, as long as they fight for peace and justice and the Assassin's Creed order and whatnot, sure, because what else is he gonna fucking do?
Yeah, it's like, and,
he just got shown that he's in a world of people that literally can call down meteors.
I'm gonna say, and from Konoha's perspective, it's like, oh, you know what? Our ninja are probably gonna be even better than stealth. Are gonna be even better at stealth than ever, because we have a human being who's really good at stealth,
without
who
chakra.
Doesn't have any of our tricks.
Yeah.
Or abilities, and he's.
He's basically doing our job, but without chakra. So he's got some tricks up his sleeve.
And even if we know half of them, the other half will make us better.
And it's not like he's a threat to us, because we can just fucking kill him at any time. Because he's literally incapable of dodging anything even thrown by, like, a Chunin and above.
Yeah, it's like...
And so, that whole story was, I haven't read it in a while, but from when I did read it, it was good. Because it took into account everyone's reactions. And other villages were like, oh, who is this guy teaching them this shit? Oh, he's just a civilian. Whatever.
It's just a guy.
Oh yeah, he's got some different hand-to-hand combat techniques. That's nothing game-changing. It's nothing to worry about. But all right, as we've delayed so much, let us get back to the real topic that everyone came here for. We've spent an hour and we haven't even touched the first story.
I was gonna say, do we have any viewers left?
We do. I would apologize, but you knew what you were coming here for on Fanfiction Friday. We basically just sit here and rant at you for roughly 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah. Pretty
So
much.
anyway. I think I'm more insulted by this Naruto Ruby crossover by the fact that it has 10 chapters, roughly 3,000 words per chapter, and it's got over 1,000 favorites and follows. I have seen amazing stories, absolutely mind-blowingly awesome stories on this website that got less than 500 favorites, follows, and less than 200 reviews. And then that's not even in obscure sections. Like Naruto, Harry Potter sections, not small fandoms at all.
Yeah.
But somehow those stories just get passed up, and I'm just like, how? I understand that some people's opinions of what makes a good story differ from mine, but when this fucking pile of trash gets 1,000 ups, and that fucking masterpiece over there only got 2 people looking at it. Anyway. Wubby! Naruto times ? Main crossovers. Naruto, Ruby, Minor Persona. Genres. Literally fucking all of them besides angst.
Besides angst. Kind of.
Action, adventure, comedy, romance, drama, fantasy, school life.
Okay, I mean, fair enough. I mean, to be fair, Ruby does have literally all of those things, so...
But that's what I'm saying, though, is most stories have all of those things. It's typically what makes a story blank genre is its defining characteristics. Are they on a quest? Adventure story. Do they get into lots of fights? Action story. Is it more romance focused? Romance story. Is it more about living at a school? School life story, you know? Is there a lot of jokes in it? Comedy. Most stories, most good stories, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Most good stories will have almost all elements in it.
Yeah, we've been at this for an hour. I'm gonna get a drink real quick. Keep going. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
As well. I'm out of water. That's what happens when I'm out of water. I start losing my voice, my precious voice. Gonna chug some milk like a white male. Oh shit, that's right, I had fish in the fridge. Oh no. Oh yeah, you're going bad. Ah, fuck. Ah well, that's life. Wait, why did I put my water down over here?
I don't know.
Like, I go out, get water, come, and I place it on the counter and then walk back to the computer. I'm just like, wait, fucking... I went out to get water and I left my water over there. 10 out of 10. Fucking true genius at stake. Oh, boy. Okay. Well. Oh boy. Are pre-orders really already starting for Mass Effect Andromeda?
Oh
Yeah.
my god, they shouldn't be.
I just got an email from GMG about Mass Effect. Anyway.
Don't pre-order. Never pre-order. It's bad.
Story start. Traveling down the faintly lit dark streets of the city traveled a young man. You already said traveling. The person's features consisting of sun blonde hair with ocean blue eyes, whisker marks on his cheeks, an athletic build comprising of fairly toned arms and legs with defined abs under his clothing. Wearing a long black coat over a white t-shirt with an orange spiral on it, and baggy black cargo jeans with a single white pouch affixed to his right leg. He also wore around his waist what looked to be a tool belt with multiple pouches. On his back he carried a large orange, red, and black flame paper backpack. Oh, just normal paper backpack, not paper backpack. That would be dumb. To top off his outfit, he also wore a brown and white striped scarf that was tied safely around his neck. Oh boy, describing the main character in the first paragraph precisely with all the details we didn't fucking need to know. I mean, like, unless the character is a complete slob or something, I'm assuming that as a main character in a action story that is taking place after the years of development, as implied by having a kid, they are somewhat fit and muscular.
What do you say? Nobody is surprised when, say, John Wick is fit and muscular. Because it's a movie about an assassin who runs around doing flips and kicks and shooting people and headshotting people.
Yeah.
It's also Keanu Reeves, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
no one is surprised when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is in an action movie.
Yeah.
Or Vin Diesel. Because those are people who look like they spend all their time doing action movie things.
you know, you would be surprised by, I don't know, say, John Wick, as played by, I don't fucking know, who's a good one? Eddie Murphy.
Zach Galifianakis.
Well, yeah, like, is this supposed to be a comedy?
Or like Jonah Hill playing John Wick.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
That goes from action movie to comedy movie. No offense to Jonah Hill. He's a very good actor, especially within the roles that he's kind of taken on for himself, which is the semi-serious, funny, fat guy.
Yeah, but it's just like,
Emphasis on the semi-serious.
The genre is obviously going to be determined by the main character. Now, you could have the main character start off as some fat, weak fuck who, through an event, realizes he needs to get stronger and, trains to get stronger. And specifying he's a fat, weak fuck through not just saying the person walking down the street was a fat, weak fuck.
Yeah, like if you're gonna do that, you have a bully or a mugger.
Yeah, someone just picking on him or beating him up and him just being ineffectual in fighting back. That would show that they are weak, that they can't fight, etc., etc. But if you're not going to do that, if you're going to have the main character just walking down a street to their destination, it is going to be assumed in an action-adventure story that the main character, past development stage, is going to be fit, muscular, and capable of fighting. You don't have to tell us that, because that's assumed.
And even if it isn't assumed, again, you do not describe a character this way.
And even on top of all that, this is a fan fiction. It is a Naruto fan fiction. If you're reading this story, you probably know what Naruto looks like. Aside from clothing, you can get a rough image of what a 20-year-old Naruto looks like. You don't need to describe him. saying it's kind of getting old. You guys are tired of it, I'm sure, because almost every fucking time we read a story, it starts with this shit. So you've heard us say this shit again and again and again, and we're probably going to say it again and again and again, because even though we're going to have no impact on it going away, it's still going to be something we're going to have to talk about each time, because it's important that people know not to do this.
That, and we're tired of reading this shit.
That too. His journey had led him to a dust shop by the name of Dusk Till Dawn. Oh, gee! I wonder what's about to happen. Can you have any guesses, Atin?
Tentacles.
God
You're
damn.
right!
Oh god, I hope not.
No, Ruby's about to show up. He entered and began looking around the shop. It was fairly average-sized shop. Average-sized shop, again. What does that mean?
What does that?
That tells us nothing.
What does
What
that
does that mean?
mean?
Like, I'm not saying you need to provide us with the specific dimensions of the shop, but saying shit like, oh, it was, the typical mom and pop shop, to, oh, it was just another branch. That gives us more of a mental image of what kind of size it would be. As most McDonald's are similar size. Most mom and pop shops are small and clustered.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, for instance, there's a store relatively close to where I live called the Popcorn Shop, and it is a shop that is literally in an alley. Literally, a guy set up his shop.
Yeah, that's
in between
common.
an
Yeah,
alley between two stores.
Yeah.
So now, granted, it's fairly unique. So if I'm trying to describe it, I can literally say it's an alley. It's an alley.
It's an alley shop. That's not uncommon at all in most cities.
Yeah, but that it tells you what the shop. It's going to be almost claustrophobically small.
Yeah.
It's going to have freestanding shelves on one wall. You're going to walk down to the end, get your merchandise, take it down to a counter all the way at the far end.
Yeah.
That where the proprietor sits with a cash register.
Yeah.
You give him the stuff, you pay him, and then you walk back down, kind of having to turn sideways and shoulder your way past every other person who's in the store right then and there, because it's an alley.
Yeah. But anyway, just saying it's a large, it's a small, it's an average, that doesn't really give anyone a good mental image of how big the store is. And then, to continue on with the inner structure, nothing special beyond the machines that contained the dusk. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think dusk is a substance in Remnant.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not. But even if it was, again, that doesn't tell us anything.
So, from my mental image right now, I have a standard chain-sized building with literally nothing in it but a cash register on a counter and the machines containing dust. On the other far side. Literally nothing else in the building at all. That's it. Just full-size, chain-sized building with only those two things.
And if there's anything else, we have no freaking idea.
Because you
It
said
sounds like they're just.
it
Sounds like they're just trying. It just sounds like they're trying to make the shot from the first episode.
But
Well,
that's what I'm saying, though.
is.
They're clearly trying to do that. But what I'm saying is they could have done something like, through a shop by the name of Dusk Till Dawn. He entered the shop and started looking around. It was the typical chain store setup. Things filling the, brand products filling the shelves, machines in the dust containing the raw dust in the back corner, with a bored attendee at the counter.
Yeah, and here's the thing that bothers me about this, especially because since you're trying to make it seem like the first episode, which that's fine, whatever, great. It's especially unforgivable because that first episode exists. We know what that stuff is.
Yeah.
Like it's a dust shop, but because obviously you can't just make money selling dust, the guy's store, from what we can see in that trailer, or the first episode, whatever, it's a convenience store that also sells dust.
Yeah.
You know, he's got racks of snack. He's got magazines.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. It's a standard chain store with racks of brand products on it. Like that sentence brings to mind the chain convenience stores, the CVS's, instead of a
The
pharmacy
CVS,
in the
the
back
7-Eleven.
corner, it's a dust machine.
Yeah. Dude, I bet dust machines would make wicked smoothies.
I don't know. Maybe they
I
would.
bet
Maybe they wouldn't.
I bet they would.
You should go to Remnant and check for us.
Excellent. We have our next crack fic.
All right, let me just go ahead and get in my time machine. In my
Time
My-
machine, nice. So,
My-
I
my-
believe we
H.G.
should
Wells?
kidnap Doctor Who and
my space and time machine.
use his police box to go to Remnant.
Morty,
Morty, get in!
you gotta go to Remnant.
We gotta go to Remnant, Morty. Oh God. Anyway,
We are getting really off topic.
we are
We
getting
should
very off
probably
topic
stop.
because
We've been
this story
off
is
topic
just
this
so.
entire
But
stream.
the problem is though, is this story is just so fucking bland. It's an average shop with nothing in it that was special besides dust machines.
And sure, maybe you're trying to conjure images with average shop. But here's the problem. First of all, this is the
What
internet.
kind of
You're
average
writing
shop? Is it an average auto parts shop with dust machines? Is it an average food restaurant with dust machines? Like, you have to fucking describe what kind of shop it is at least.
Especially because you're on the internet. This is an international stage.
Yeah,
you cannot just assume that our international store is everybody's international store.
Yeah. I mean, not even that. Like, holy hell! If you've ever been into cities or the outskirts of cities, those lower income convenience stores are like auto parts. You could like buy fucking motor oil there as well as an orange, a suspicious pile of beef, your present for your next Valentine. And also pay for some lottery tickets and your gas. Like, and maybe ammo depending on the area. Like, there is a distinct difference between income areas, the type of city, where it is in the world for average.
I was going to say, because a Japanese convenience store is vastly different from an American convenience store. And even within
Don't
the
let
kinds
them
of
tell that
convenience
yet.
stores, you have to pick between, say, you have your choices of, like the dollar store.
I mean,
which
it's not
other
even
nations-
that. I mean, you can rightfully assume that if you're writing in English, that a majority of English speakers will be reading your stories. But but you still have to describe it because again, not everyone comes from the area you live in, and what you think of as normal or
Yeah, I was gonna
average
say, let's
mean that
let's
the
do a
person
quick
from
poll here, because
Utah thinks
we've got
that's the normal or average.
exactly. Here, let's do the quick poll. Quick poll. Now, nose hair. Where are you from?
Massachusetts.
Okay, when you walk into a gas station, we'll substitute that for convenience store right now. What's usually what are the kind of products one can expect to buy in there?
Waters, snacks, drinks. If you find the right ones, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's just like snacks everywhere, and basic
I was gonna
stuff.
say, is there anything that you could think of that was, say, unique to Massachusetts?
Since you've lived in other places?
I would really say the only thing that's unique to Massachusetts would probably be the amount of Fenway Franks that you see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. What do you know? I don't know what the fuck Fenway Frank is. 'Cause that's literally something we don't have.
Well,
anymore.
I mean, they're not actually Fenway Franks. They're just the knockoff version of the Fenway Franks
We
that
still
people
don't
put
know
in
what
like
those
the
are.
really discount ones.
Yeah.
They're hot dogs.
Ah. Yeah, see,
But here's the thing.
that's the thing, though, is in New Jersey, for example, there aren't really convenience stores attached to gas stations. I mean, sure, you will occasionally. I'm not now. Again, this is South Jersey, preface South Jersey. I traveled all across South Jersey as part of one of my jobs. Most of the time, if there was a convenience store, it was fucking small as hell, and you could buy maybe cigarettes and a row of candy, maybe beef jerky, maybe waters in a mini fridge, but like the average convenience store in New Jersey, from what I have seen, and trust me, I've seen plenty, it maybe half the size of a normal apartment, $1,500 a month apartment.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so a couple hundred square feet.
At best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've seen convenience stores that were literally an extended booth. Like, convenience stores really aren't a thing in New Jersey because, for the most part, mostly due to the fact that you don't get out to do your gas in New Jersey. Because it is required by state law in New Jersey to have a gas attendant do your gas for you. There's no reason to get out of the car and pay with cash at a convenience store location that's attached to the gas station. So what you would do is, if you're paying with cash, you would just give the guy who comes to your car the cash to pay.
And he takes it inside.
And he takes it to the little booth that's in between the gas stations and rings it up. And then fills your car. So there's no real economic reason to build a side store to the gas station. I mean, sure, you obviously you want to buy some cigarettes or whatnot from them, maybe, because smoking's a thing, but there's no reason to pay the extra money required to, have lots of products available there for all the people that come in to pay for their gas and cash.
I was gonna say. Meanwhile, in Illinois, it depending on the size of the store, it could be anywhere from 2 or 3 rooms of a house in size with sometimes they have restaurants attached, like sometimes they have fast food chains attached. Sometimes they have multiple fast food chains attached.
That was the thing that I noticed driving through the South on the interstates and whatnot, is a lot of the gas stations would have like actual restaurants attached as the convenience store.
You don't go in those restaurants.
They were fine for me.
It depends on where you are. If you're in Illinois and it's like a fast food place, you absolutely go in there.
If you're in the middle of nowhere, though,
I've never had a problem with the food in the middle of nowhere. I've been to middle of nowhere restaurants. I've never had problems with the food there.
Yeah,
well, then we've gone to very different restaurants.
I was going to say, and then here's the thing, and then it's those stores that the ones I'm talking about, they can have everything from, like they might have fresh baked donuts there, to sometimes it's just racks of Sun Chips and Cheetos and Fritos and Doritos and you can get water in the back and Monster in the back and stuff like that. Sometimes they have coffee, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have slushy machine. Like saying a convenience store to all three of us confers different things.
Yeah.
Because we're all from different places.
Which is why you would use a brand that's more known. And I'm not talking about it's like an In-N-Out. I'm talking about McFucking Donald's.
You say McDonald's, or if you're trying to describe a specific gas station, you say like 7-Eleven.
Yes, 7-Eleven has gas stations where you are?
Well, usually
Yeah.
they're convenience stores that also have gas stations.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even that. Look at that. Because as he said, there's no point in having a convenience store attached to a gas station.
I mean, I've seen plenty of 7-Elevens. I've just never seen one attached to a gas station.
Those are like
they are almost exclusively attached to gas stations, my friend.
Yeah, they're fucking everywhere in Massachusetts too.
But again, I've only known 7-Elevens as a side convenience store with some pretty shitty hot dogs. And
I mean,
the one
they pretty much are that.
Late and great cheeseburger hot dog. Boy, great going in, terrible going out.
That's pretty much all. Like, that's what I was going to say about
all of 7-Eleven's food, though.
No, I was going to say, like, that's basically just all the food that I've gotten from, like, nowhere, anywhere. Just like, oh, it's good food. This is really good food. And I just, like...
I regret this decision.
No, like, I went to... I think it was in, like, It was, like, in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Because we were driving down to Florida because it was apparently cheaper.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is cheaper than flying. But basically, we just went to this nice little restaurant by a gas station, and it had actually some of the best fucking pancakes you will ever have.
IHOP?
And the best eggs. Like, no, it was not IHOP. Shut the fuck up.
Okay,
I will fucking...
No, hold up. We are so wildly off track because we don't want to read this thing, boys.
Was it a Denny's?
Fucking kill yourself.
All right. Okay. Back on track. Rope ourselves back in. All right.
No, I want to lost all our viewers yet.
We have not lost anyone yet. Oh, I mean that I'm wrong to say that. We have lost people, but they were people we lost at the start when we were just being bumbling morons, long before we got into the long winding stories that nobody really cares about.
Excuse me, this is a good pancake story.
I give little shits about you and your pancakes, nose hair.
Alright, fine. I guess you don't want to hear about the fluffiest pancakes that...
No, we don't.
No,
we want to read terrible fan fiction.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'll tell
We're
the
here
story
for one
later.
thing and one thing only. Shitty fan fiction and ranting about it. This is the part where pedophilia steps in.
What?
His observations ended when he caught sight of something suspicious.
Okay, so wait a minute. His observations have ended. Who was observing him and telling us everything he looked like then?
A few men in black suits with fedoras, wearing sunglasses, holding swords with red blades. You could have just said fucking thugs with red blades.
Remnant.
Well-dressed thugs with red blades. Like, you didn't have to... you didn't have to go, they have fedoras and sunglasses and swords that were red!
I was gonna say, if you were really intent on being descriptive about it, you could have said they were very sharply dressed, but they clearly were
sharply dressed thugs,
because they were very uncomfortable in their outfits.
Well, I mean, not even that. You could just be sharply dressed thugs with red swords charged into the store, strolled into the store. You didn't have to, like, they're in suits and they're wearing fedoras and they have black glasses on. That kind of detail is left better for, anime? Movies? Visual media?
Yeah, you say that. You just think those are the kind of things that it's fine to include in visual media because.
Well, obviously you're seeing it, but saying, describing it in a book, you just need to say, shit like sharply dressed, in suits. You don't need to describe how the suits had lines going down them in a fancy pattern, like, unless it's supposed to be remarked upon by the character itself, like they're at a ball or something, or they're waiting for their date and the date comes down. Obviously the character will be describing the dress and observing the dress in their heads or whatever, Otherwise, we don't fucking need to know. That kind of detail is better left for visual media. Right now, you're just giving us so much fucking detail that doesn't fucking matter. Because you know what's about to happen? They're about to get their ass kicked by a 14-year-old.
And that's what you say.
That's disheartening to any gangster.
That was when he noticed. Oh, sorry, hold on. We're filling up containers with dust. One of the henchmen suddenly flew past him from an aisle. Naruto turned to see what had caused it. That was when he noticed a young girl, a fairly short girl, that was just a few inches shorter of 5 feet tall, with red-tinted black hair, with her tips being rather short.
Why are we discussing her in this much detail?
She also had same silver eyes and pale skin. She was fairly endowed for her age, a bit larger than average, but not a size that would be uncommon outside the realm of possibility.
I have several questions.
I want to talk about, I'm going to change the title of this stream to Fanfiction First Impressions 8, Waffling on About Nothing.
I mean, that's basically what we've been doing.
I mean, that is basically what this author is doing, and that's what we've been doing in response. Because hot damn, does this author put extensive amount of visual detail into the written word.
Everyone
It's
must know so
Ruby!
when they read.
You're reading a Ruby Naruto crossover. It's assumed you fucking know the characters.
And even if you don't need to go into that detail. And Naruto would certainly not be that freaking creepy observing a 14-year-old child.
Now, I'm not saying never describe the characters in a crossover. And there's going to be people who, just like Naruto, who looked at the crossover section and saw this story and were like, who the fuck's Ruby? And they read the story. Clearly, they have internet access, which means that if they really wanted to know what Ruby looked like, what does Ruby look like? Google, enter. Oh, that's what Ruby looks like, and that's what she looks like naked. Thanks, internet.
I didn't need that in my search history, making me feel like a creep.
Oh, and there's Yang bondage porn. Wow, I am so glad safe search is off.
Why did I
like
do
how
this
you
to myself again?
I like how you mentioned explicitly that it's that kind of.
I have to, because it exists, and you won't stop going on about it.
Excuse me. Hold up. I mentioned it once because you guys were like, "What's the top listing?" And I went, "Oh, it's this." So, fuck off, and viewers, I'm sorry you had to hear that, but unfortunately, that's the majority, and that's because I was asked to look for.
Isn't that like because her voice actor's into it or whatever?
Yeah, that's what I mentioned.
Yeah. Anyway, as I was so precisely describing the looks and breasts of a 14-year-old, from his vantage point, he could see the girl release her weapon. A large scythe. That's not a sentence. The weapon was much larger than the red girl, being 7 feet tall with a curved blade. Well, that is how a fucking scythe looks like. You're correct, author.
I'm gonna say, this isn't a foreign concept to Naruto. He's fought with and against people who have scythes.
And it's not even if Naruto doesn't know what it is. If Naruto doesn't know what it is, he shouldn't be describing it as a scythe. A. Because he describes it as a scythe, it means he knows what a scythe is. Which means we don't need to describe how a scythe looks, because A, we all know what Ruby's scythe looks like. B, we all know what a fucking scythe looks like. C, it sounds mechanical. We can probably take what a scythe looks like, what mechanical looks like, and put the two together and get mechanical fucking scythe.
Well, to be fair, it's better.
Once again, it's the internet. Since this is a crossover, it's guaranteed to be about a character. So even if you don't know that character, you could go Ruby Scythe.
Yeah, like, holy shit. What does Ruby's scythe look like? That's what Ruby's scythe looks like, and that's what Ruby looks like when she's having sex with her scythe. Thanks, internet.
You think we're kidding about that? No,
No, that's not. That's a thing.
We haven't seen it, but we know it exists.
It exists.
How do we know
There's porn of it.
Because the internet's a bunch of creepy people.
Anyway, as
Remember,
I was saying,
never look
They're
up something
solely
you
to give
don't.
them ideas.
As I was so previously stating, which was multiple blades layered on each other to create a single blade, was over 4 feet long. What the fuck is this sentence? The weapon was much larger than the red girl, comma, being 7 feet tall, comma, with the curved blade, comma, which was multiple blades layered on each other to create a single blade, comma, was over 4 feet long. That is an abomination of a sentence, and that is an abomination of a description. Also, is her scythe really multiple blades?
It kind of looks like it looks like it's multiple blades. It's not. It's not multiple blades. Hold on. Let me.
I just realized Ruby's scythe form kind of looks like a Desolator from Dota 2.
It does kind of look like a Deso, but no, there's not multiple blades. No.
No, okay.
Well, I mean, looking at it, I guess I could see the argument for there being multiple blades insofar as because of the way it hinges, there are blades that are separated from each other. Like because of the way it folds out, there's...
Oh, gee! Okay, there we go. Okay, there, the better quality. There we go.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's the basic part of the side.
Okay, yeah, no, I am seeing that. Yeah. Yeah, I am irrationally angry now about how that gun is incorporated into that scythe.
Why?
That just makes me angry looking at it.
Why, though?
Like, what the fuck is up with the blade at the end? Like, what is with the back blades? When are you ever gonna hit something with those back blades? That just looks like you want to stab yourself accidentally.
It's because Monty Ohm likes Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah, I could tell.
I was gonna say, also, because here's the thing, she does do quite a few acrobatics, so I could see why a back spike could be useful.
No, so the pole spike, I can sort of understand. I've seen it used before in medieval stuff. Fine, whatever. I'm talking about those back blades that are at the opposite side of the scythe. I can understand a counterweight. I don't understand those inward-facing scythe blades that you would basically be better off beating the person with a pole at that point to hit someone with those blades, because they're pointed fucking inwards. If they were pointed outwards, that, again, I could understand that with acrobatics. I cannot understand at what point in time would you be able to cut someone with that. I'm just saying. Anyway, so I can sort of see their argument as to multiple blades layered. I wouldn't say layered. I guess that was my main problem with the way they described it, is they said layered.
Yeah, because layered made it sound like there was a bunch of
blades on top of each other, not just like in a line. I mean, I can see right there's 2 blades on top of each other, but there's a lot more blade in this whole scythe contraption that is not layers.
Yeah.
And, yeah, no, I'm looking at it.
But you see that, internet? Just what we were talking about. We didn't know, so we Googled it.
Yeah. Lay gasp. It took a whole massive fucking 1 second to type that in. Anyway. Of course, main character self-insert OC in the shape of Naruto is going to interrupt Ruby's introduction into the world.
See, now I think it would be great if at this point Ozpin interrupts the interrupt.
That would be funny, actually. The back of the blade had sort of an axe part of it that was more blunted than the blade itself. At the tip was an opening for shots to come out. At the tip of what?
And how? I was gonna say, how does he know all this?
I mean, no, it is quite obvious that there is still a gun function in Scythe mode.
But from just a casual glance.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. That was one of the first things I noticed was the port for the barrel.
Fair enough.
But the way he describes it, it makes it sound on the scythe section of the scythe, there's a port for the bullets to come out, which is wrong. It's the pole section of the scythe. So, this person is not only trying to be super descriptive, they're describing the wrong fucking things incorrectly. Like, this is why you don't be super descriptive. If you fuck up, not only do you look like a massive asshole, you're now a cunt.
Who's wrong?
When you had access to fucking Google. You could have just said Ruby's fucking scythe, but no, you gotta show you're the big dick on campus and describe it in exacting detail that happened to be fucking wrong.
I like how that's how you describe it. The big.
What?
It's just, I don't know. The way you describe something.
Naruto turned his attention back to the front. The front of what? The store? The front of the fight? The only distinguishable criminal was an orange-haired man wearing a white jacket and black pants, wearing a black hat with a red band around it. He had thick black gloves on and a gray scarf around his throat.
You haven't told us what kind of hat it is, since you described the other guys as having fedoras, who... Excuse me. You should have described the fact that Roman Torchwick is wearing a bowler hat.
Yeah. Exactly. In his mouth was a cigar, because clearly this person couldn't put enough time to actually research the shit he was describing. In his mouth was a cigar, and his hair was pushed to the right side of his face, covering his right eye, but his left eye showed he had green eyes. What if he is heterochromatic? You don't fucking know. He wore a high collar with a red interior. In his hand was a white-handled weaponized cane, judging by the thick red portions around the end, where the handle met the rest of the cane. You're a determined one. The blonde's eyes widened as he recognized the voice. Of course he recognized the voice. Can't have fucking Ruby fighting an unknown criminal. Nope, Naruto's gotta know everyone. Joining the man was a tall, bald, dark-skinned man. Can't even, you were so proliferate with those commas earlier, and now here you are forgetting all of them.
How do I word?
In a full-body, double-breasted black suit with a white dress shirt underneath it. The man towered at 6'2", and he wore shades. The suit did little to hide his bodybuilder build.
Okay, look, I know that this character is sometimes written as gay in these fanfictions, but seriously?
On his fingers, he wore 10 silver rings, which were identical. Rodin! The blonde growled as the blonde extended his hand, flickering to life. In his hand was a staff in his hand, with the insignia of the sun. This time you won't be getting away. Of course, Naruto has a bad past with him.
Hold up. One moment. Wasn't he...
No, please. Share it with the class.
I thought that...
problem.
No, I just thought that the whole point of the story was he came here because he got transported here and wasn't a normal Desian.
No. In this story, he's Naruto, the character in form of personality and name and looks, but none of the powers and none of the history.
Right.
Yeah, I went on a long rant about this before you showed up. This is the worst kind of fanfiction crossover in which they take the character for their looks and name and put them into the story as if they were always in Remnant or insert other crossover place, and they'd never had the powers of wherever they came from. Because that's what I want to read when I read a Naruto Ruby crossover. Is a self-insert OC with the face and name of Naruto.
Don't you always want to read about that? That's the best kind of story. He said, waiting for someone to beat the hell out of him. Your punishment must be more severe.
Where is it? Where is it? You know what? No, I'm done. All right. I'm done. I'm done with this.
It's basically been 2 hours now waffling. Just to say no.
Yep, nope, I'm done. No, I'm just kidding. Alright. I had to use the gun prop at some point. What?
How long have we been going now?
We're roughly approaching like an hour and 30, I think.
Jesus. All right, we gotta do one. We gotta do at least one chapter of another story.
No. I mean, hey, we can always go till 10 and wait for Max Force to revive.
Should we?
I mean, as typical for our Fanfiction Friday stories, we typically do go until we can't universe anymore.
You know what? Why don't we all just sit down and write a nice Naruto Star Wars crossover together? What do you think about that, fans?
And then commit ritual suicide. I love it.
I was gonna say, why don't we find another story or something?
Because this chapter's about to be done. It's just been taking us a really long time to get through it.
That was a short-ass chapter.
Yeah, we're about like halfway through.
This is only 2 chapters long.
Yeah.
Is it new?
It's 10 chapters long, around 3,000 words each. It's been going since September 24th, 2015. Holy shit! And I thought me and Max had a bad update schedule. We fucking put out 6 chapters at 74k words, and it took us a year. Well, I mean, technically 2 years, because we rebooted the story with better grammar and spelling and plot. But, still, doing better than this motherfucker at 10 chapters and 30,000 words in the span of 2 fucking years.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty safe assumption.
Safe assumption. All right.
Like, one of our chapters is literally half his story. Anyway. Something like that, Torchwick, he answered. I'll leave him to you. As for the rest of you, get the girl! The orange-haired man said with a twitch of his head as the remaining 4 goons rushed towards the scythe-wielder. Naruto brought up his staff and blocked the punch. What punch?
What punch?
The punch that... The punch
no,
we're just
out,
being told
stop.
about now?
Stop.
Like, you have to show the guy attacking him. Or at least comment the command just attacked him. He blocked the punch. The imaginary punch that no one was throwing?
Why does he have a staff all of a sudden?
Because this is a remnant Naruto who never knew about the chakras.
But again, here's the thing. If you're going to take... It's Naruto.
Yeah.
Ostensibly, it's Naruto.
Yeah.
Give him a weapon that, even if it isn't Naruto, at least would be reminiscent of Naruto. Like...
Naruto actually just punched a shit ton of people, so I guess he would have a fist-based weapon at most.
I was gonna say, like, either he'd have a fist-based weapon or maybe a shuriken.
Maybe it's because of the monkey thing that was in the original. If that's why.
Oh, don't tell me they just made him Sun.
No, he's talking about the monkey clan that Sarutobi can summon.
I know that.
And thus he became
his semblance is Sun Wukong!
Yeah, except they literally already have that.
Do they fucking really?
Yes, there's a guy named Sun, he's a monkey faunus, and his aura, his semblance is to make copies of himself.
God fucking...
Like, energy-based
Does he use a
copies of
staff?
himself. Yes.
Fucking god damn it!
Yeah, it works. He's also trying to bang his universe's incarnation of Black Cat, so that's interesting too.
Oh. Well then.
For more stuff out of left field, viewers, please visit www.gofuckyourself.com.
The force of the attack sent both him and Rodin crashing through the walls of the shop. Bouncing off the ground, Naruto recovered and rolled as he spun the staff and swung it upwards, to which the man avoided. This is just really awkward combat description.
Yeah.
Landing on the front of his feet, the man shot the front of his feet as opposed to the side of his feet.
Or the balls of his feet? Or the tips of his toes? How do you land on the front of your feet?
Landing on the balls of your feet would make for a better recovery and the ability to switch your momentum forward, but landing on the front of your feet would probably fucking break your feet at the rates you're going.
I was gonna say, that's the thing. Based on the way this sounds, it sounds like he landed, like, with his feet, like, down, so that he just snapped his ankles backwards. That's what this sounds like.
Pulverized both his feet. The man shot forward, 6 of the rings glowing. There's no comma there. So it just reads, the landing on the front of his feet, the man shot forward, 6 of his rings glowing as he launched another attack of the force of the blow, the ripping of the staff out of Naruto's hands and sending it flying down the road.
What?
Yeah. Look at it. That's the sentence.
Yeah. You know, this guy is so fucking obsessed with putting commas fucking everywhere, and then it's like he used up his comma quotient or something. He's like, I have put enough commas into this story. I don't need to use commas anymore.
Well, of course, there's also the problem of using too many commas.
I mean, yeah, but that's what the problem. And early on in the story, he used a fucking assload of commas that did not need to be there. And then now we get to this part of the story, and it's like he just took all the fucking commas that was supposed to be here and just shifted them all up. Which, I mean, I know that's not what happened, but... Unwilling to be deterred, Naruto charged forward, landing 2 hits that caused the man to fly back a few feet.
2 hits? 2 hits from what?
Combo!
Didn't he drop his staff?
Yeah!
Yeah! So
like
he punched him?
2 hits from what? His dick?
Yes.
Double tap with the dick.
I mean, apparently he's taking such an interest in a 14-year-old girl, maybe that's what it is.
Bringing both hands together, Rodin slammed down towards Naruto, who twisted out of the way and landed on his knee to his side. The man hardly budged from the attack. He was like hitting a brick wall. What?
By the way, I didn't need that mental image you gave me.
That's fine.
Fun little fact, if you haven't played For Honor yet, the heavy on the Japanese side kills people with pelvic thrusts.
I've seen the gifts of that. I'm still waiting for more money because I spent some of mine, and
You heard him here, folks! Donate to Patreon/nosehairfuckyourself.com.
Help him experience the joy of pelvic thrusting his enemies to death.
please no.
That's not an actual Patreon.
Well, it could be, but
You're right.
It's not for this nose hair.
No. And at what point, bringing the man hardly budged from the attack? What attack? The attack that he just landed? What? This is the most awkward combat. I'm gonna say this again and again. This is just really fucking awkward combat. He jumped back just in time to avoid a retaliatory strike. Who jumped back? Roden or Naruto?
We don't know.
Yes.
And even though the English language works with if the subject isn't changed, it's assumed to be the last subject, you can't do that in combat.
Well, not even that. It's the previous sentence, I'm assuming, when it says the man barely budged from the attack, I'm assuming it's talking about Roden because they described him as being fucking huge.
Yeah,
and previously described, Naruto went flying from a single one of his punches, so it clearly wasn't Naruto then, which means the man is currently the subject of all descriptors. So when he jumped back just in time to avoid a retaliatory strike, I can only assume it's Roden, but it's probably not, because Roden was just shown tanking shit.
I was going to say, and, he wasn't shown to be the type to avoid a strike. If anything, Naruto's the one who's going to have to be avoiding a retaliatory strike, because even when he had a stick, he was getting his ass kicked.
So saying he here still is using the man descriptor from previous sentences. That's how English language do.
That's how English language do.
It's actually a proper sentence as well. Just
and that infuriates me to
feel that in your soul.
I feel it in the pit of my soul, and it's a very...
Hurry up, Roden! We're getting out of here, Torchwick said as he began scaling up a building. Looks like I don't have time to play with you today.
Roden's supposed to be here.
What?
You mean Glinda?
Oh, yes.
No, remember, didn't Yang show up outside the store?
No,
Nope.
Yang showed up at the police station.
That's right.
Like, I haven't even fucking watched Ruby, and I know that. Let's see. Looks like I don't have time to play with you today. Roden slammed his fist into the ground, causing a blast that uprooted the road and shot at Naruto. That's not how physics work.
You're asking about physics at this point in the story?
Shush you. I won't let you escape again. Naruto roared as he cocked his arm and slammed through the road with his right fist, quickly following up...
Hold the phone.
Hold up.
He could barely move this titan of a man who is punching the road to send bits of it flying at another human being.
Yeah.
And now suddenly Naruto can just one-handed fly through it?
Yeah. Power levels, what are those? Now, I can understand if he used his bow staff with some magical enchantment or whatever the fuck on it to punch through the road. That I could get. But we've previously seen his physical strength isn't all that much, so punching through solid fucking cement...
No, not cement even. Asphalt.
Well, asphalt's what you put on top of it.
Well, okay, yes.
Let's not get technical.
No, we should get technical, because this author's stupid.
Let's get dangerous.
Anyway. I won't let you... and quickly following up with a left. With a left.
Left what? Left punch? Left kick? Left nut?
Yes, his left nut. To clear the other side. Other side of what?
He nutted so hard that he hit him with it.
Dude, it's a Naruto story and a harem, so maybe. He leaped toward the building as his momentally surprised Red managed to launch herself to roof as well. Was she that determined to stop this Torchwick guy? It didn't matter. He could not and would not let Rodin get away. "Stop, and bring back the dust you stole," the girl in red called out to the man who stopped at the end of the building. The man cursed under his breath. Naruto and the girl in red were forced to take a step back when they were hit back a large amount of wind pressure as Bullhead appeared up in front of the building. The Bullhead was more basic one build for speed with 2 wings with jets pointed at ground. And the hatch was currently opened up
We're
with
done.
light shining at them.
I think we're done.
What?
These descriptions.
Zach
I
just
don't even
might
want to
have.
know how this guy would try to describe a pelican.
Zach might have just had a minor aneurysm. Everybody.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm looking at this dialogue is just absolute trash. Okay. I'm gonna leave a review. Let's see. Tried to read this story.
Friend had
Died
minor and friend had minor
a bit
aneurysm.
on the inside. You used way too many commas where they didn't need to be, and used no commas where they were definitely needed. Your attempt at descriptions are both painfully vague and overly precise at the same time. How you managed to incorrectly describe things with 2 minutes of Google searching
Oh, he's
to
throwing
incorrectly
the.
describe things with 2 minutes of Google searching
He's throwing out the heat.
is
No,
beyond me. Frankly, I am insulted that this story exists, let alone in the possession of so many faves and follows. Your update rate is frankly atrocious, and so is your chapter length, considering the time it took. Alright, Grammarly, tell me everything I did wrong.
How much did you do wrong?
I did quite a bit wrong.
Well, then fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it.
Oh, I
Fix it.
am.
Fix it.
I really appreciate Grammarly. post-review. It's taking its toll on me. Ugh.
Rip. Just the fucking death Left 4 Dead music just comes on. Just Sneaky has died.
Wasted. Okay. I don't think I can subject us to this story.
Well, then don't.
So I'll save this for a later Fanfiction Friday.
How about we don't save it and we just plunged into the depths of hell where it'll never be seen again?
No. I don't think no. We should save this one for when Max Force is with us. I would rather commit suicide than read this story right now. Hey Atin, do you know Fairy Tale? How well do you know Fairy Tale?
I mean, I watched some of it.
Okay, so we're not gonna do this.
I certainly don't claim to be an expert.
In what?
Fairy Tale.
Oh wait, didn't we? I think we already covered. Did we already cover this story on the stream? Hyuga's downfall, where Hyuga's downfall, where he. No, I think we did. Yes, yeah, we did. Yep, we did.
I was gonna say, I do remember hearing about this, and you guys were like, "Hey, do you know Fairy Tale?" And I'm like, "I sort of."
No, I'm talking about Hyuga's downfall. A different story. Chapter 15, they find the relics that would unlock the hyper versions of the Sharingan and.
Oh yes.
There's a Uzumaki bloodline. Yeah, I'm pretty. We already covered that on a stream, right? That was last week.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
We got a Harry Potter Warcraft crossover. We're all familiar with Harry Potter and Warcraft here, right?
I mean, what's the crossover?
Harry Potter vanished from his aunt's and uncle's doorstep as a baby. After years of searching, he was deemed dead, but in actuality, a young Harry...
Hold up. Did I just hear Ansem?
What?
Aunts and uncles, Tricky.
Oh, okay. You said it quickly.
A young Harry had appeared in Azeroth at the footsteps of Tyrannus Menthil's throne, taken in as the king's heir, Harrison Menethil.
Oh, okay. For a second, I thought you meant. For a second, I thought you said Warhammer, and I was like,
"Oh,
wait a minute.
No, Warcraft, Warcraft. We're all familiar with Warcraft here, right?"
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Warcraft, I know. Well, not as much as not as well as I'd like to, but
mostly focuses on Warcraft 3.
Okay.
So basically, the premise of the story, TLDR, actually, the author so kindly. This is why it earned its Fanfiction Friday place. Is the author so kindly provided a TLDR of what he should have written, and instead provided a TLDR of. So we could get right into the action part of the story. Harry Potter vanished from the Dursleys' doorstep as a baby. Dumbledore turned to Neville Longbottom as the Chosen One now. Voldemort had returned directly before the Triwizards tournament. Fighting a losing battle, the Ministry reaches out to its most powerful ally, Azeroth, the land beyond the Veil of Death. In speaking to the leaders of the Empire, for the sake of the fic, let's say that the Alliance and the Horde get along really well and merged. They decided to send two of their most powerful enforcers, Jaina Proudmoore and her husband, the Lich King, Harrison Menthil, Harry Potter. Dark Harry.
Hold up.
Harry times Jaina.
Hold up. We gotta roll this back.
Well, let's roll this back for a moment.
First off,
I'm probably saying it wrong. Hold on, I'm looking up how to say that.
You dare put Jaina with the Lich King? I don't care who it is. The Lich King.
To be fair,
No. There was no to be fair. The person that Jaina, who the second Arthas was like, I'm going to kill civilians that may or may not be infected, Jaina said,
Arthas
no,
Menethil.
I'm out.
Menethil. Got it. I just looked up how to pronounce Menethil. Love the internet. Anyway, so yeah, Harry times Jaina.
Oh boy, let me go make some popcorn.
Yeah.
This is gonna be good.
You gonna get a seat ready and everything?
Just imagine me like pulling out a chair and just sitting down, like
the classic
like,
"this gonna be good" gif.
Yes, the classic one.
Anyway, it's like you can tell why I put this on the Fanfiction Friday list, right?
Yeah.
Fanfiction. I keep fucking saying it. Like, hey, first off, it already earned a spot with Harry times Jaina, but Harry is the Lich King. And then it definitely earned a spot with the Horde and the Alliance just completely forgot all their the opposition between the two and just joined together to form the Empire. And then the third part was the Veil of Death is actually a dark portal between the Harry Potter universe and the Azeroth, but it's been never used before.
I wish I could dare.
On top of all fucking that, I can... Okay, yeah, okay, maybe the letter, he read the letter, but no, in fact, no! No!
Wait, what do you mean he read the letter? Hold on, back it up, I'm
Okay,
confused.
so Harry Potter disappears from the doorstep, which means Dumbledore places the baby at their doorstep, rings the doorbell, and before the Dursleys come to pick up the baby and read the letter telling them his name and everything, he disappears with the letter. And I was saying, okay, maybe that the king read the letter and then gave him the name Harrison instead of Harry when he claimed him as his son. And I sat there, I was like, wait a second, fucking hold the fuck up. There is no fucking way the king would know how to read English.
And even if they did... Even if it's an asshole and English is like the common language, that's still an asshole.
Well, no, it wouldn't make sense to make English the common language.
First off, maybe he knows English because he's the king and they know about Hogwarts. Like,
yeah, but see, that's the other problem.
Here's my problem. Why is the king there picking him up?
Because he appeared on the throne. He disappeared from the Dursleys' doorstep and teleported to the throne of the king.
Because reasons.
And then the king was like, hey, I'm going to adopt this baby that just suddenly appeared in front of me. What could possibly go wrong?
And then said baby turned into
And as
king.
Such, because I'm adopting this baby, I will no longer have sex with my wife.
Hold up. Based on Azeroth, I can totally see, like, the king being totally cool with that. Like, here's the thing.
No, you didn't hear the rest of it, though. The rest of it was, because I'm claiming this child as my heir, I will no longer have sex with my wife, therefore no longer will produce the man known as Arthas.
What?
Wait,
yeah.
So Arthas just straight up doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But that's so stupid. You could have just... It could have been so easy. You could have just gone... Arthas is born. Arthas is born as a baby. Arthas dies.
No.
New child. King is grieving. And then while he's grieving, suddenly there appears before him, by literal magic, a baby at the throne's door.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem with this, though, is we will never know that. We will never know that because, for some fuck-all reason, the author decided to never actually tell us the backstory. He did a TLDR.
Yeah.
So we'll never know. Maybe that is what happened. Maybe it isn't. my explanation of, oh, I have a baby, don't need to fuck my wife anymore, is just as equally possible as, oh, my baby died. Because we will never know. Which is stupid. Second off, this means Harry Potter is the Lich King at age 13. In his fucking Jaina. At the age 13. Because this is like, 14 or whatever. Because unless Azeroth experiences accelerated time or whatever,
which is certainly possible.
I mean, not really, because he's describing the Veil of Death as just another fucking dark portal, sorry. And we all know the Outworld doesn't experience different time stream than the Azeroth.
For some reason, when you said Outworld, I expected Mortal Kombat.
Hey, that might make for a better crossover. Harry Potter becomes the Mortal Kombat fight.
Yeah. That would go a long way in explaining the bullshit that is Mortal Kombat. But anyway, my point is, unless there's some sort of wonky-schwonky time shit going on, we have fucking Harry Potter being the goddamn Lich King at age 14, fucking Jaina Proudmoore. Which, obviously, because this is a trash story, Harry Potter's obviously not 14. He's probably like 20-something. Living the life exactly as Arthas would, except he has magic.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Which changed nothing, because he lived exactly as Arthas would.
So, he's still a paladin.
Probably.
He's still befriended Muradin.
Probably. But, we don't fucking know, because we got a TLDR instead of actually being told.
Telling people your story is so last year. Don't you know?
Actually, writing stories is so last century. But anyway. I have ranted and raved. Now let's move on to the main body.
Oh, we're not at the main body yet.
No. Chapter 1. Albus Dumbledore, headmaster of Hogwarts, mentor of the Chosen One, watched with tired eyes as Cornelius Fudge, minister of magic, paced agitatedly behind his desk. Terrible business, Albus, just terrible. The portly man seemed to groan as he spoke. You know who has been pressing a fearsome advancement against the Auras. Auroras? I never quite understood how to pronounce that.
Yeah, me neither.
Aurors?
I guess.
I believe it's Auroras. I don't remember at the top of my head.
Pronunciation. Oh, I'm so glad this fucking exists.
Order.
Orior?
What?
Order. Order.
No.
Orior.
No, that's retarded.
Order. Order.
That's retarded.
Aura.
Horror.
Order.
Horror. Horror.
Well, I mean, I just listened to like 6 different ways to say it, and this is the most upvoted one.
Order.
Orior.
Order.
Yeah, Orior is the most upvoted one.
Aura.
So, fuck it. Horror. Like, what the fuck, JK? Can you at least make pronounceable words?
No, that's too hard.
Anyway. The ranks are dwindling quickly. Another thing to say is a lot of Harry Potter fans, for some reason, when they're writing fanfiction, just completely ignore this. The Aurors are the special forces.
No, yeah, they're literally just
the
spitting
country.
as.
Like, the hit wizards are supposed to be the standard police. But for some reason, everyone treats the Aurors like they're the standard police and they're completely ineffectual. It's like, yes, standards got lowered in canon. Yes, they are a lot weaker. They're still the special forces.
They're still literally SAS forces.
Like, I can understand, like, oh, we're losing massive amounts of hit wizards. Yeah, sure, that's fine. It makes sense. Cops versus terrorists, and the terrorists have fucking nuclear warheads. Yeah, no, the cops are losing. Spetsnaz versus terrorists. Terrorists have nuclear warheads. Doesn't fucking matter. It's Spetsnaz.
Now, I mean, it explains all the civilian casualties because it's Spetsnaz, but...
yeah, but no, really. These are supposed to be the best of the best. The cream of the crop. And even if there is corruption in the ranks in terms of people getting promoted even without skill, to stay in there, they had to have some level of skill. Because of the person in charge of the Auras, Amelia Bones. Was a very much no-nonsense person. And even if she couldn't stop someone from being promoted, if she could prove they are absolute shit at their job, they would be demoted just as fast. Which leaves me to wonder.
Pretty much everyone at Hogwarts was just given an Aurora job if they wanted without nukes, so...
When you're more effective than the standard policing force and you're only fucking 12.
That is fair.
That's my PewDiePie voice. How good was it?
I wonder if there's a Wizarding World equivalent of CSGO.
Get out.
Yeah.
What?
It's called fucking nothing. Fudge reached up with his left hand and wiped the sweat from his brow. There's really only one thing I can hope to do at this point. A small smile graced Dumbledore's features. Now, Cornelius, Neville is not yet. A sharp tone laden with harsh words abruptly interrupted his would-be speech. I am not talking about your damnable poster boy, Dumbledore. You forget the public may believe that he is destined for something great, but I know fully well the extent of his uselessness in war. Fudge seemed to growl as he spoke. This is a really out-of-character Fudge.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Fudge seemed to growl as he spoke.
This seems more like Winston fucking Churchill. This is not...
I was gonna say, this is an actually useful, effective Fudge, which, based on everything I've read in the books...
Completely out of character. And don't take on that look of righteous indignation. The boy can't even cast anything beyond the strength of a stunner. Technically speaking, Albus, that may be as well as flicking the Death Eaters on the mask and saying bad boy. Half of the Ministry is attempting to form search parties to try and locate Harry Potter, hoping that he could save us again. A sad look flashed across Dumbledore's face, and he opened his mouth to respond, but was once again cut off by the Minister. No, Dumbledore. I know that such a thing is useless. I have a better plan. You are familiar with the Empire, correct? Yes, the Empire. The hate flow through you.
I mean, I don't think the Imperium of Man would ever help that. They just go, wait a minute, magic? That's heresy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, listen. You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see that trash bin of a Dark Lord Voldemort versus Palpatine. Avada!
Bizap!
Avada unlimited power!
The Empire and the Ministry have been allies for some time now. Sorry. Dumbledore nodded. The one that controls all of Azeroth? Yes, I am. See, that's the other thing, is the reason why I could never see the Empire and the Horde and the Alliance getting along, is the trolls hate the elves because of long history between the two.
I mean, you say, because the elves were huge dicks.
And the trolls were mutant elves, and they didn't really like how they were treated by the elves when that happened.
That's what I'm saying. The elves were huge dicks.
Yeah. And so on top of that, top of all that, the humans pissed off the blood elves. The humans also pissed off the undead. The humans also...
Well, the undead are irrelevant at this point.
Oh, the Forsaken. I don't know if the Forsaken are still existing, but...
Well, again, here's the thing. The Forsaken don't really matter because since... Like, with the Horde and the Alliance allied...
Well, I'm just explaining why, as to why they would never end up in such an alliance. There's a lot of bad blood between orcs and humans. But, however, I could see them putting it behind them, as they've done continuously. But trolls and elves, never. Centaur, Tauren, I could see, yeah. Because they really are only in the combat because they are allies of the orcs.
Yeah.
The Blood Elves fucking hate the humans because of what happened.
To be fair, can you blame them?
What other races we got? We got the dwarves.
No, the dwarves have the least problem with anybody.
Yeah, dwarves and gnomes really don't have much of a problem with anyone. So I mean, honestly, it's between the trolls and the elves, and both the humans and the orcs are too loyal to those respective races to not help them in their race war, basically.
Yeah.
The elves also have a huge problem with the orcs when they cut down the forests and shit for the
yeah, well, I mean,
construction.
here's the thing. I'm trying to think here. With the Horde and the Alliance allied, like, assuming everything happened the way it did, the undead wouldn't have become a problem because the Horde and the Alliance together would have easily beaten them back.
But see, that's the thing, though, is we don't know when they allied. So, for all we know, everything happened precisely as it did, except Jaina followed Harry, when he became the Lich King.
Why don't we just call him Harthus?
Harthus, there we go.
Harthus.
When she followed Harthus into darkness. And everything happened the way it did, except at some point they're like, hey, let's stop murdering the world, and they all became friends. Like, the only reason why the Horde and the Alliance stopped fighting in, Wrath of the Lich King and shit, and by stopped fighting I mean stopped going directly at each other. They still fought, but it was just like, hey, we're still gonna kill each other and stuff, but let's kill him more.
It's like, I'm not a fan of you, but I'm really not a fan of being turned into a shambling corpse.
Yeah, so it's... it's just not feasible because we've already seen the attempts for the Alliance and the Horde to unite against threats of the world. And in the end, even against these fucking world-shattering threats, they eventually went back to fucking trying to kill each other. Because of the previous old grievances that they had.
Yeah, I was going to say...
I'm going to go, by the way, guys.
All right,
I'll see you later.
Here's the thing, literally the only people who would have had any hope of holding Alliance together were Thrall and Jaina. Like, those are the only two who could have kept things together. And for a while they did. But then, everybody else was stupid.
Well, I mean, it's not even that everyone else was stupid. It's understandable on a lot of levels, the amount of hatred between the Horde and the Alliance. Because... the orcs came and just started murdering massive amounts of people. The humans had no fucking idea why. They have never seen these people before. They've never done anything to them before. And suddenly out of nowhere, their towns are burning, their people are being raped and killed. That's going to cause a lot of grievance on that. Sure, the orcs can then say, dude, we're sorry about what we did. And obviously they did terrible things, as we saw from Thrall growing up. They did terrible things to the orcs in response. But the orcs then were like, you know what? We have to leave. They stopped being fucking maniacs. They fought off the Burning Legion influence. They moved to Kalimdor. They started building their place, and the humans were like, no, you don't get to fucking walk away from this.
Yeah. And then,
which, I mean, fair enough. Like, they wanted peace, but at the same time, a majority of the people that fucking murdered an ass ton, and, it wasn't like, Nazi Germany, for example, where all the people that were in charge of the Nazis, were sentenced to jail and killed and shit. No, a majority of those people that led those battles were still fucking alive on the orc side. And the humans there are just like, okay, you just came and basically tried to commit genocide on us. And, did terrible acts to us. And now you're trying to say, oh, no, we're peaceful now? No, fuck you. You're dying.
Especially because and you're just trying to set up shop on our stolen land.
And obviously the humans didn't really have much stake in Kalimdor, but the elves did. And the elves were like, yo, humans, we're kind of longtime allies, sort of. These fucking assholes are cutting down our forests. And the humans are like, okay, well, we fucking hate the orcs already. We want them dead. And now they're attacking our allies so they can, build cities we don't fucking want them to have. Yeah, so of course they're gonna fucking fight against them. And the orcs are disgruntled. They're trying to search for a home. They have all this shit going for them now.
I'm just saying, they have all their normal problems.
And on top of that, fucking demonic possessions and shadow councils and corrupting influences. They got a whole bunch of internal strife going on. And the culture that the kids of the demonic influence grew up in. And as a culture, they had evolved into a warlike people. Everyone there was a warrior. Everyone there could fight. Everyone there saw fighting as glory and honor and etc. Whatever.
I'm just saying.
So as much as they wanted peace, if someone else on the other side is like, hey, we're gonna fucking fight you, they're not gonna say no.
Yeah.
Sure, the leader's like, no, guys, we gotta go for peace. The fucking grunt's like, I want to just kill people.
Yeah, the orc peon is like, stab.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying they're dumb and stuff. I'm just saying they grew up in a culture that promoted mass killing. And just because they basically lost a war doesn't mean that culture's going to go away. It's just going to be a slow process of going from Warcraft 1 to, World of Warcraft, the Lich King. Where they slowly evolved from a warlike people into people that just wanted to defend their home. And that takes a long time. That's a long time for grudges to build between families. And, back then, between even orcs and humans, a lot of blood grudges, That was a thing back then. A lot of people swearing on their ancestors they're going to avenge blank or whatever,
Yeah.
And, which is why they always ended up fighting in the end. Which is why, even after fighting off the Burning Legion and knowing the full might that will eventually come down on them, they could have united and built up the empire, for lack of a better word, and, joined forces and really trained each other, but there was no clear and present threat. There was, once they defeated, was it Archimond, right? That was the guy that was humping the tree? Kill Jaden
yeah.
or Archimond? I think it was Archimond.
No, it was Archimond.
Yeah, so, once they defeated Archimond, they're like, oh, we defeated the Burning Legion for now. There's no clear and present threat from them anymore. So, in a majority, again, in the leaders' minds, they might be like, we should go for peace, we should, prepare for the Burning Legion to come. But this is the Burning Legion. They might be here in 10 years. They might be here in a year. They might be here in 1,000 years.
We don't know.
You don't know. And the thing is, especially with humans, at minimum. I mean, the dwarves would be fine being left well enough alone. The gnomes would be fine being left well enough alone. The same for the elves, Tauren. I mean, trolls are really the only trolls and orcs and humans were really the only people that wanted to fight shit. And
Yeah.
but there was
because before the events of Warcraft 3, more or less speaking, that was the only people who really had any problems were trying to think. The only people who really had problems with these other were the trolls, the orcs, and the humans.
Yeah.
The trolls had a problem.
Yeah.
Like, the trolls had a problem with the elves, but the elves didn't have a problem with the trolls, because the trolls weren't there.
I mean, they hated the trolls, and they thought them disgusting creatures, and lower life forms, and various other.
But they weren't going out of their way to fight them.
Yeah, they were like, those savages can live in their swamps and whatever. We have our trees. And the trolls obviously held a race-wide grudge against the elves. Because they would tell their kids about the horrors of the elves and how it is their duty to kill them one day and whatever. But that's not the point. The point is that there was no common threat for them to unite against. And so grudges built up again, old grudges came to forefront. And again, with the whole thing, resources were needed. Resources are needed to rebuild. But there's only so many resources available, especially in this day and age with the current resource extraction methods available.
Yeah. Like,
so
you got a bunch of dudes hammering rocks for gold, a bunch of
and iron, and whatever you can find, and there's only so many resources available. There's only so many techniques to get those resources. So the resources that were known were pretty much all that were guaranteed to be found in the coming years. So everyone that tried to rebuild wanted them. And of course, if humans and orcs are getting into dispute over mine, they start threatening each other. One of the orcs sees this as an opportunity to settle an old grudge, kills a human, they kill some orcs, and look, we got another full fucking battle.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take much to restart the war, and each time we were shown it didn't take much to restart a war between the orcs and the humans because of the amount of past grudges that were held between the two people.
Yeah. Like, even when the elves, or even when the humans and the orcs went across to a different land.
No, yeah, on different parts of the land, they still ended up in conflict whenever they found each other.
And the only thing that stopped them was the actual appearance of the Burning Legion. And even then, it took the Night Elves slapping the sense into them for it to stop.
Yeah. And then you have the Lich King problem, which, again, they sort of united, but... And the Burning Legion problem as well. Again, it was a universal city. And they all sort of united and kept the peace in this city. But the second you found someone out there, they were dead.
Yeah.
And it didn't exactly help that the Outlands was an extremely harsh place with very few resources, again. And the amount of discoveries you could make couldn't really be shared with people besides your own faction. And so obviously you didn't want them getting, whatever ancestral, etc., might have been there for the orcs, and the humans didn't want whatever they thought the orcs would after. And so obviously they start fighting over fucking nothing again.
Yeah.
And it took something like fucking Illidan. And, what's his fucking face? The sun, the high elf that used the sun well to summon.
Kael'thas?
Yeah, Kael'thas. Fucking took Kael'thas and Illidan to unite the people again temporarily, to go fuck them up. And even that was super fucking temporary.
I was gonna say, take even the latest expansion, the one with the Titans. Like, now, granted, this is partially because Sylvanas is, like, the least trustworthy and most horrible human being, well, elf, undead being, whatever, that's, like, ever walked the face of Azeroth.
Yeah.
You know...
But, yeah, like, I don't know much about the more recent ones. I mean, I only played up to Cataclysm. But
like,
even in fucking Cataclysm, even when they, like, Cataclysm, Deathwing, the threat Deathwing represented was even greater than the one that Lich King represented.
Yeah.
Because with Lich King,
like,
they were able to repel his troops. They were able to fight his ships before he could really make a strike out at the other lands. But the problem is, when you're facing the fucking aspect of Earth, and he's about the size of Stormwind, bigger fucking problem. And when he's angry, he's capable of literally tearing a continent in half. Bigger fucking problem. Even then, when facing with a clear and absolutely obvious threat to everyone, they paused their fighting long enough to kill it. And they went right back to
literally
fighting.
the second it was dead, it's
right
back to
war.
being idiots.
Yeah. Which ropes it all back in, tie it all up in a nice little bundle, explains why the Empire is impossible. Because no matter what point in time this event occurs in, but we know it occurs in Warcraft 3, there is too much bad blood between too many of the races to ever unite fully. Now you could say, you know, the Tauren could theoretically join the Alliance because they're very much neutral in terms of grudges and whatnot. However, they hold their promises to a very high regard, and they promise to stand beside the Orcs.
Yeah.
So they won't ever join the Alliance without the Orcs.
Well, especially because the Orcs saved their bacon, too.
Yeah. And they basically have a race-wide life debt to the Orcs.
Because if the Orcs hadn't shown up when they did, the Tauren settlers, or what? I guess that. It was essentially the whole of the Tauren race because they had to move.
Yeah.
Would have.
Yeah, died. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the Tauren are not leaving the Orcs. The Trolls would never ally with the Elves permanently.
Humans?
Ever.
Maybe, if the humans stopped treating them like assholes.
If the humans broke off allegiance with the Elves, the Trolls might consider allying with the humans, because the Trolls have no beef with humans besides, well, they're easy to kill.
I was going to say, and the humans have no beef with the Troll besides, could you stop killing us?
Yeah. But, again, they hold their oaths to the Orcs in high regard. So the Orcs would have to join the humans for them to consider joining the humans. The Undead would never join the humans. Period. Ever. Too much, between the Forsaken and the humans, there is too much bad blood. And they would never do it.
Well, I was going to say, it's not so much that the Forsaken would ally with the humans, but the humans would not tolerate it.
No. It was shown that canonically, the Forsaken have very basically the same amount of disdain for humans as the Elves have for Trolls.
Yeah, I mean,
they look down on humans as lesser creatures.
It goes both ways.
Yeah, I know exactly. And it was the same for the Trolls and the Elves.
Yeah.
They both think the other is lesser. So they would never ally. So you have 4 races on each side who would never think to ally to any of the other 4 races without, you know, like the dwarves and the elves and the gnomes would never betray the humans and ally with the Horde. because they hold their oaths to the humans in high regard. The same thing for the three, as we said, with the Horde, to the orcs. And that's why you've seen, what was it, goblins, what was Cataclysms? Goblins and Worgen?
Yeah.
Goblins allied with the orcs because they were there. It wasn't, oh, we hate the humans more, because the goblins were neutral in this whole thing. They allied with the orcs because the orcs were close by, they needed some assistance, the orcs provided assistance, they're like, yeah, sure, we'll help you.
Well, I was gonna say, and then the problem is, because the Worgen allied with them and the goblins allied with them, and the problem is, they all get sucked into these war. Like, sure, initially the Tauren wouldn't say no because of their promise, any more than the dwarves wouldn't say no because of their
now
promise.
The wars caused the bad blood between. But again, it's minimal bad blood. It wasn't like you tried to genocide my race, bad blood. It's we got into fights, bad blood, because of our allies. It. The basic, as I've said before, bundle it all up. The humans and the orcs.
Anyway,
and the Horde and the Alliance would never, ever ally with each other.
I was going to say, having covered the fact that it was impossible and wouldn't happen, let's get on with the story.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure we've driven away whatever few viewers we had by now.
Nope, still have the same two. Such loyal viewers they are.
Yeah. Should we stop torturing them?
Nah, keep going. Anyway. As I was saying previously. The Empire and the Ministry have been allies for some time now. I have reached out to them and they have agreed to send their 2 key enforcers to help us out. I plan to place them in Hogwarts, which is where my informants tell me Voldemort has grand plans for. Since when the fuck does Cornelius Fudge have informants?
Yeah.
Also, yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, God,
What?
okay. 2 people, Cornelius? Honesty? Fudge glared balefully. Yeah, aneurysm. At the headmaster. Apparently, you aren't familiar with them as I. These enforcers are Jaina Proudmoore and the Lich King Harrison Menethil. You may or may not be aware, recently one of the nations under the Empire, led by a former Horde general, began an uprising, trying to gain control. The Revolutionary Army had numbers above 5,000 strong, magical and non-magical alike. Oh, 5,000! Oh boy. What's the actual population of Durotar? Okay, a lot of people are talking about this. In that lore-wise, the race's populations are just absolutely just massive plot holes.
Oh.
Yeah. Basically, the populations to sustain numbers from the orcs moving from Lordran to Kalimdor, they would have to steal 20 more ships than the entirety of the Spanish Armada, and they would all have to be capitals to hold the amount of people needed to sustain a population that could be capable of fighting a war. Obviously, stealing the entire human armada without the humans noticing is a bit fucking impossible. So that's one plot hole.
They could manage it.
Then there's the other plot hole of even if the Night Elves had a kid every 500 years, according to their lore history, they could overrun the world in numbers. But apparently Night Elves have very small numbers. You know, so like this guy is like pointing out a bunch of lore-based reasons as to why there's massive plot holes in everything.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's just, I mean that's the problem. This is the problem when you want to try and talk numbers. Like if you want to just do a Warcraft crossover where you just talk like conflicts happening, and a clan or whatever, or just straight characters, that's fine. Nothing's wrong with that. It works because that's what Warcraft has been. But if you're trying to talk like actual logistics of, this area had a population of 5,000. Population of 5,000, according to some of these forum posts, is literally like Kalimdor. Like half of Kalimdor. So it's just, like when you throw out numbers like 5,000, that's literally the entire military arm of the Horde.
Yeah.
So and this is before the population boom that was suggested by multiple different people, multiple different forum posts that occurred after they had moved to Kalimdor.
Yeah.
Because at fucking the time of the Lich King Ascension, Durotar was barely even like built. Orgrimmar was like halfway through being built. So they weren't exactly producing the babes yet. But, this whole story is just an absolute mess in terms of time and numbers. And
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
moving on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna finish this paragraph and then we're gonna kill this story and I'm gonna leave a review and we're gonna move the fuck on to something else because
We're gonna be done for the night because we've been going for like 3 hours now.
yeah, no, we're done waffling on about nothing. Lady Jaina was sent out with a small platoon of around 50 men, also mixed with magic and muggle, to defeat the entire army within a day.
Okay, first of all, 50 people's not a platoon.
It was reported that only 2 people from her side got into a fight. Really? Jaina killed 5,000 on her own.
First of all, no. This person clearly doesn't understand who Jaina Proudmoore is.
Like they don't understand the limits of magic in Azeroth.
Not even the limits of magic in Azeroth. Fucking Jaina wouldn't do that. Even Jaina couldn't do that. Literally impossible.
Like
Dumbledore's eyes widened. This gets better. And the other?
Dumbledore's eyes widened because he sensed the bullshit.
Fudge almost laughed. Her husband, actually. The Lich King, Menethil. While Jaina is respected for her prowess as a mage, Menethil is outright feared amongst the people of Azeroth. Before the merge, both the Alliance and the Horde were getting their collective arse handed to them on a silver platter by Menethil and his forces. He waged war on the whole world and would have won if not for Jaina. Of course. Fudge leaned closer to Dumbledore, as though about to tell some great secret. Harrison and Jaina had some, shall we say, history, and she managed to resurrect whatever humanity was still within him, and get him to change his ways. Menethil's power level is so great that it's over 9,000. That not a month ago, something the entire...
I'm sorry, that wasn't actually in there, was it?
No, I
refuse to read that.
Yeah, no, it was not.
Thank God.
Something the entire Empire refers to as a dark portal opened up. It poured hundreds of thousands of orcs.
Hundreds of thousands of orcs. I think we can just stop here.
And the Lich King Menethil alone stood at the opening of the dark portal and kept the tides at bay. I'm not even gonna bother reading the rest of this bullshit. Again, it sounds like Harry is like fucking 20 something. Which, again, timeline-wise, from the Harry Potterverse, impossible. B, the orcs are just coming through?
Unless there was another portal of orcs, or unless it was somehow also far enough ahead in time that the events of I'm trying to think, the events of what were they?
Warlords of Draenor.
Yeah.
Oh, what? No. Blah blah blah, Necromancer, raised god, the Valkyr, divine beings of battle, angelic women uncontrollably submitted themselves to his rule. Didn't he corrupt them all?
Who?
The Valkyr? Like, that's why they submitted themselves to him, because he, like, infused them with necromancy or whatever?
I don't even remember the Valkyr. Was that just in was that just in Wrath?
That was in Wrath, yeah. They were like the dungeon bosses and shit.
Oh yeah, no. He totally necromanced the shit out of them.
Yeah. He's resurrected all of the humans, and he's made world peace by resurrecting everyone that loved everyone else.
Well, okay, that's at least not bullshit.
I mean, it sort of is. He doesn't have access to people like that. He has access to their bodies, at which point he just turns them into a normal undead. If their spirits are there, he has access to their spirits when he kills them, personally. Or when one of his magical agents kill them. And then they have to do shit to that spirit to capture it before it goes away.
Yeah. Although, I mean,
Like
maybe
that.
if he had access fully to the frozen throne,
No, like
maybe.
that was a thing that was established in
Yeah, no,
Warcraft
you're
3.
right. You're right. Because of
Sylvanas.
Sylvanas.
Yeah. Like
Sylvanas, waifu trash.
your waifu is indeed trash. What the fuck is this story? What kind of ass blasted timeline is this? Dark Portal? Question mark. So is this supposed to be Warlords era? Or Warcraft 1? Why is Harry so much older than the rest of the HP verse? No matter what magic exists, Jaina could not solo
5,000 people.
Jaina
Furthermore,
and the Lich King could not solo 5,000 people. This story was non-stop cringe. Author's note. Another story that revolves around Lich King. I'm sorry, guys. I never really liked WoW. But the lore is bad. Oh, lore is badass. He censored himself like a little bitch. And Arthas is one of the coolest, most OP villains I've ever seen. No, he's really not. He's a whiny little bitch who did a bunch of stupid fucking things because he was so hell-bent on revenge that he fucked everyone in the ass.
yeah.
And then, when he did become the fucking Lich King, he was a fucking whiny little bitch still, and got his ass fucked by a bunch of people that he left alive because the fucking walls.
And then, when he finally became the Lich King,
That's what I said.
truly became the Lich King.
No, like that's what I'm saying. Like when he finally became the actual Lich King and sat on the frozen throne, fucking, he left Sylvanas alive, thinking, haha, this is so funny. He left fucking the Ebon Knights alive, thinking, haha, this is so funny. They can't rebel against me. Oh, what? They fucking did. Sylvanas fucking did. She fucking made a fucking nation to rebel against you. The fucking Ebon Knights were a bunch of fucking badasses who rebelled against you.
Well, no, hold up. To be fair, Sylvanas wasn't able to rebel until the frozen throne cracked.
No, she attacked Arthas, when he weakened due to something occurring. I forget the exact timeline, but that's what made him flee towards the frozen throne.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He left Sylvanas alive because at the time he could fully control her, and he had no expectation that would ever change.
No, so something happened. He thought he could fully control her, and he sort of could. But
No. There's no sort of. He
sort of could. This is what from my memory. This is what happened. He resurrects her, right? Sends her to attack her own people. She does. She has no choice. She starts killing a shit ton of them. She does what he did to her people, in that she resurrects their spirits as banshees that can possess people and shit.
Yeah.
Then, at some point, she consolidates enough power to break away without letting him know, and ambushes him when he was fleeing due to humans attacking him. And he's like, oh shit, I gotta get out of here. And then Sylvanas comes out of fuck all nowhere and is like, lol, poison arrow, bitch! Suck it!
Well, no, she started breaking free because the Frozen Throne was weak. Like, he had moments of weakness, but he was like, okay, this is okay. I still have control of everybody. That's when Sylvanas was able to break free, and then she played dumb.
Okay, yeah. So I don't remember the Frozen Throne cracking.
Well, not literally cracking, but, what's his face? Illadouche was in the process of attacking it, and because remember, he'd been, by the time that Arthas finally gets there, Illidan had been working on the Frozen Throne for a very long time.
Yeah, that's right. Like, yeah, he was. Yeah.
Like, Arthas got there literally in time to save the day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but still, he left a lot of people. Like, it wasn't even just Sylvanas. No, he left a lot of people alive to spread the terror and for fucking lols and shit.
Yeah.
And then, oh, what's that? It turns out all these fucking people really fucking hate him more than they fucking hate everyone else. And they all lied to go kill him. And they succeeded. Because he was a stupid little bitch who got his jollies off instead of being a proper villain.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I think Blizzard just downplayed how awesome the Lich King really was. Aside from his general badassery, his character depth and detail in the storyline is just so off the charts. I love writing about him, especially when I can make it a Times Jaina story.
Okay, first off, just because you take Harry Potter and change him into Lich King doesn't make him the Lich. Like, that, you're going to have a very different Lich King.
I mean, not only that. I mean, technically speaking, if he followed in the footsteps of Arthas, which there's a high chance he would, simply because the king would plan out his life, more or less.
Right.
And so he would be going to the same schools. He would be in the same places at the same times. He would be meeting the same people. And he would be learning the same things. But the problem I have here is twofold. A, he has magic. And I'm not talking about holy magic that you get from the light, which is a thing. Anyone can use holy magic if they devout themselves to the light.
Yeah, that's the thing. Anyone can become a paladin. You just have to swear yourself to the light.
And so he has magic, but that's never referenced. And because he became a paladin, he's capable of becoming a dark paladin in terms of taking the power that he got, corrupting it, and turning it into necromancy and shit. That was a thing that happened with priests and paladins. So that's canon. Yeah. Again, no other magic is being mentioned here. He would have never had a time to learn about Harry Potter-verse magic ever. No one would have known it was Harry Potter-verse magic. No one could have told him.
In fact, well, no, here's the thing. Even if the king did plan out his life, it still would have gone completely differently because, assuming that they both use magic, it would have been discovered that Harry Potter, whatever the hell his name is now, could touch the arcane, and so immediately...
That is true. Yeah, no, that you're right. That is true. But what I'm saying is even along the path that the author described, events would have happened differently. Harry Potter isn't obsessed with proving that he could be a king. Like...
Yeah. He
has a hero complex. He would have tried to save the people, but at no point, at any time, would an event occur that would make him go, time to kill everyone because I can't save them. That is not Harry Potter's character.
That wasn't quite the rationale. The rationale was, I'm going to kill them all because I can't be sure who is and isn't infected, and they're all dead anyway.
But that's what I'm saying. Time to kill everyone because I can't save them.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Harry Potter, even if he wasn't the Harry Potter from Harry Potterverse, just one of his base characteristics is still hero of justice. That is a cliched, common main characteristic for guys in an action sort of bent. Which is, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that is a key characteristic that you do not get growing up. That is something that you are born with. Arthas was born with an obsessive tendency. He obsessed about becoming a king. He obsessed about saving the people. He obsessed about killing the people that caused the problem. He obsessed about gaining power to kill the people that caused the problem. In his obsessions, he slowly got to the point where he was like, fuck it, I need more power, and became the fucking Lich King by merging with the Frozen Throne.
Well, no, remember, he picks up the rune, he first picks up Frostmourne, because...
That's what I'm saying, though, he's obsessed with showing his father that he can be a king. And so he's going out and doing these things and saving the people and helping people. Because he's obsessed with showing that he can be a king. And then he finds the necromancer plot. He tries to stop it. He can't stop it. He pursues it. He gets the Strathlome. Obviously events happen, but he gets the Strathlome eventually. He realizes he can't save the people. And not only can he not save the people, there's this fucking batty-ass asshole who's going around turning everyone into fucking zombies.
Taunting him the entire time.
Taunting him the entire time. And so he's like, this guy is responsible for it all. If I can kill him, I can stop it all. So then he obsesses about killing him. And then he fights him. And he fucking loses. Because he ain't fucking swole. So then, he's like, okay, well shit. I gotta get stronger. And then he obsesses about finding power to make him stronger. Which the Frostmourne. And then he pursues Fatty Asshole to Northrend.
He's chasing Fatty.
Yeah.
And Fatty's like, if you want to find me, you can find me in Northrend.
And so he goes to Northrend. And he's like, shit. These people, my people want to leave because this area fucking sucks. I can't let them leave. And so he fucking he hires bandits to burn down his own fucking ships.
And then murders the bandits.
Yeah, and then executes all the bandits. And it's just like, okay, he's getting to really obsessive territory now, and he's permitting a lot more stuff than he was before. Then he finds fucking Frostmourne, and then he kills his friend, basically.
I was gonna say, then his best friend is like, okay, I agree, this is some pretty bad stuff. He's like, but dude, why? Not that I'm thrilled you're here, but why are you here again? Oh, well, I'm looking for Frostmourne, this super badass rune blade, which Arthas would know what a rune blade is.
Yeah. It was extremely rare, but they did exist. The rune based weapons did exist.
They knew what they were, and Arthas was like, "Oh, that will give me the power I need."
Yeah, and the rest is history. But the point is Arthas has an obsession. He was born. That's not something you pick up in life. You are born with an obsessive personality.
Yeah.
Just like Harry was born with, the hero of justice kind of personality of saving people over himself. Like that is an extreme level of hero of justice. That was the byproduct of his upbringing, but it's still built upon the base of hero of justice.
I would say. And additionally, that was one thing that he had that Arthas never did, which was Arthas was never willing to sacrifice himself to save the people. He was willing to sacrifice literally everyone else, but he was like
in Strathlome, Harry would not have been like, all right, time to kill everyone. He would have listened to Uther.
He would have listened to Jaina. Jaina was like, they can't all be infected. Surely we can save some of them.
Yes, there would have been some infected there. Bad things would have happened, but he still would have tried. That is the important part. Things would have happened differently. He would have never have fought Mal'Ganis. Mal'Ganis would have never have been able to taunt him to coming to Northrend because he would have been more concerned about helping the people in front of him.
It's like,
Eventually, after he cleaned up the mess left, he would have gone to Northrend in pursuit. But when his people would have started complaining, he would have turned back. He would not have hired bandits to kill the ships and kill the bandits. He would have not have sacrificed his friend for a sword.
well, okay, to be fair, Arthas didn't know picking up the sword would kill Muradin.
No, but the sword did come with a warning that it would take something dear from you.
True. It's very true.
And if his friend was like, yo, let's don't do this, and the sword's like, yo, I'm gonna fucking kill something dear to you, I don't think he would have done it. That's just me, but I personally don't think he would have risked it if one of his friends was there. If he was alone, I could see him risking it. But not if his friends were on the line.
Yeah. Well, and most importantly, here's the thing. Jaina would certainly have never have left him.
Yeah.
Because the reason... Jaina wouldn't have left him, and What's-His-Face would still be alive.
Uther.
Yeah, Uther would still be fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Uther would never have... He might not even know Uther.
But I'm saying along the timeline that the author declared. Not talking about divergences here.
Okay.
Along the timeline, the author declared half of those events wouldn't have happened, and if they did happen, they wouldn't have happened the way they did. And it's just. That's not even getting into the whole fucking portal between Azeroth and the Ministry of Magic. Like that I mean, you would have to ignore canon again, as this author seems to be so insistent on doing. You have to ignore canon in terms of we don't know where the veil goes. We send our criminals through it. It's one way. It's a death portal.
And even if it isn't a death portal, it's certainly a no-return portal.
And on top of all this, again, one fucking way. You know how we know it's one fucking way? Because it's existed for literally pre-Roman time, and it hasn't spit anything out. In canon, that portal has existed as long as recorded history of Harry Potterverse. And it has never spit something out. And the author means to tell me that magically the portal is now a two-way device. Suddenly, just in time to contact the Empire and bring Harry Potter
even
over.
If it was only a one-way, even if it was, one way, they figured out where it went, and they figured out that it wasn't a death portal.
It's still one way in that nothing's coming back over. And I don't believe there's any mind magic in Azeroth. And I mean, I suppose if you sent a wizard over that could implant memories in the arcane mages of Azeroth, and then they have built a portal to the Ministry in terms of, the teleportation portal. But again, we know that mages can do continental portals, personal continental portals. However, I don't believe there is a portal to the Outworld. I believe that is only a stationary thing that people can't create, as far as I'm aware. So, maybe that's made by the fucking Naru, the light itself. That was never explained why those portals existed, but the best I can say is they weren't human-made. And so apparently cross-dimensional, and as we've seen, they needed to fucking build this massive absolutely evil portal that required hundreds of thousands to be sacrificed to it to create a portal that bridges dimensions and worlds. So if that massive creation with the help of the Burning Legion that devours worlds was needed to bridge worlds, I really doubt a couple of fucking mages are going to be able to bridge the Harry Potter and Azeroth verse.
Yeah.
So, there's just literally so many fucking potholes in this story. You would think it was California roads.
Anyway, to the two viewers who are still, for some reason, still here.
Yeah.
Bless your souls. We're done here.
Peace out. This is the end of Fanfiction Friday. See you guys next week.
Tell your friends if you hate them.
Oh, God.